What's up, you guys, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Julyssa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brandon. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
And we have a special guest today. We have Ybrazzy.
Woo!
Wait, where do I look at? Or do I have to
you're
look?
right there.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
right
you don't
there.
have to, but if you want to look, it's right,
Right
there.
there.
Oh, hi, guys.
Dude, this is crazy. I don't know if you remember this, but you were actually like you duetted one of our like first ever viral videos. And do you remember this video of some guy, right? Some guy saying that saying Edgar is racist? Do you remember that?
Was that you?
No, that was me.
That was you?
That was me. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
You duetted it, and you were like, you were just explaining how like you don't mean to say it that way. And then I remember we were like, dude, we were like honored because we already liked your content from day one.
Did I
so
talk
we were like,
shit?
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay,
No,
I'm glad because I thought he was going to expose me. Wait, can I cuss on here or
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Okay, so I thought you were
No,
about
no,
to expose me. I was
no.
like, fuck, it's one of those podcasts.
No. It was more of just like a cool like full circle moment for us, dude.
I definitely do remember something about someone saying that calling someone an Edgar is racist.
Yeah, that was
and
me,
I was
bro.
like, what the fuck? Like,
No, that was our first episode, I think, right?
Dude, that
Yeah,
was
that
our
was.
first ever
That was our first
episode.
episode.
oh,
Yeah.
man, that's dope.
Yeah, so
I
it's
definitely do remember someone saying that, and I do remember duetting it, but I don't remember like the video, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
I get you. No, yeah, I get you. Dude, that's why like this is such a full circle moment. I wanted to wait till we started recording just to tell you.
Bro,
No,
been
this-
holding it in.
Yeah, I was like, bro, like it did hurt my feelings, imagine. I'm like, bro,
Oh,
fuck.
He starts
you.
crying and
He's
shit.
here to
Nah.
confront you.
No,
We
no.
have you here now.
Damn.
No, but it's cool, dude. It's cool because like there's a lot I guess I could talk to you about. Because dude, I've been watching your content for like forever now, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe
Thank
since
you,
you like started. You're funny, bro.
Appreciate it.
You're funny, dude. How do you come up with like your skits? Like, what does inspire you to make the skits?
Honestly, it's just random. Like it's
Just
really
random?
just random.
Yeah.
It's like it's not planned. Like it's just whatever comes to the head, and then lo hago.
Do you ever draw like inspiration from people you've met, or like?
I think that's most of my skits though.
Yeah.
Like from like the dad or the tío or like any other character I play. Like it's just I don't like do the skit solely like thinking about them.
Yeah.
But like at this point, I don't do skits thinking about like my dad or
Yeah.
thinking about my mom. It's just like
Mm.
it's just I don't know. It's just off the brain. I don't know how to
Yeah,
explain
dude,
it.
that's what I was gonna ask you too. Because sometimes I see the comments in your videos being like, "Oh, like this isn't a skit. Like you're like doing like
Yeah,
therapy." Is there any truth to that or not?
I would say most of my skits are 100%, not 100%, but I would say like 70-80% is true, like the basis of the video, and then like the other 20% is just dramatized, like to make it funny.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Have
Excuse me. But most
Yeah.
of the videos is like I've seen that or I've been through that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, because I was gonna say that. Well, my favorite skits of yours are the ones where you do the kid who's ditching class. Because when we went to school, I knew a bunch of kids who were like that. So I guess in that vein, I always wanted to ask, like, do people ever hit you up being like, "Yo, is that supposed to be me?" Or
I mean, I do get a lot of DMs
Yeah.
like, bro, this is hella funny. It reminds
Yeah.
me of me when I was going to school or something.
yeah.
When I do those videos, I actually go with Vision, and we sneak into schools to do those videos.
Really?
Really?
Colleges. We used to do
Oh,
high school when we were younger,
Yeah.
but now we just do colleges.
I like
I want
it.
to make that clear.
Whoa! Caught yourself
Really?
slipping for a second.
Really? You sneak into them?
Yeah, 'cause I don't go to college, so I gotta
Oh.
sneak in.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Did you ever go to
the
college?
The cops are about to see this video.
I
It's
know.
like,
Type
that's
Type
him.
shit. I got a lot of
That's-
The
trespassing
fucking
orders.
security.
So when you were younger and you would sneak in, did you ever get caught or in trouble?
Nah,
No?
I've never been caught.
Oh, really? So you would
No.
just kind of blend in?
Yeah, type
Oh,
shit.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's because you play the character so good, dude.
Yeah, they think I'm one of them. And then
Yeah.
I wear the whole hot Cheeto outfit, so it's like
It's just a student
That
fucking
one,
around.
and then another favorite of mine is when you do the super senior. In the
Oh,
car.
yeah, a
and
lot of people like that.
I've seen a lot of people comment, be like, "Bro, how do you know this? Like, this
Yeah,
is too accurate."
I'm
And-
trying to stop doing those videos just
'Cause it's
because, like,
Yeah,
it looks bad.
yeah, at one point, like, oh, like, it's funny doing it because I know I'm good at it. Like, it's
Yeah.
funny to me. Like, it's funny.
yeah,
But also by doing that, a lot of people are like, yo, are you this guy? Were you this
Yeah.
guy or something? So I just don't want that, like,
yeah. That energy.
around. Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I
that's
get
cool
you.
because I think some people would be like, "No, I'm not gonna stop. Fuck that. Like, I'm not gonna let people affect me." But I think it's smart in some sense because some shit you don't want to be known for.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, for example, I used to do, and this was not in no relation, like, this was way back, but I used to do, like, the pervy tío. right?
Yeah.
I didn't have a Theo like that. I just want
To make that clear.
that if my family sees this, right? But I did know Theos, not my side of the family, but I knew some other Theos that were like that, or just random unks in the world that were like that, and I seen it, and I would I would do that, and then I just kind of stopped doing it just because like I don't want that to like be out there in the world. Like I know it's funny and I know I could do it well, but I just don't want it to be out there in the world that could possibly be used against me in the future.
Yeah.
Or just like, I don't know, overall, like I remember when I was doing those videos, a lot of like girls in the comment section would be like, wow, this brought like suppressed memories or some shit like that.
I get you.
And yeah, so that's why I kind of
It would hit a little too close to home for
I
some
feel
people.
like I get that because it's a very touchy subject that some people have generally gone through.
Yeah.
And I think I understand that you're like, you know, like that's it.
Yeah.
It's like you're making a joke of something that's very, you know, it's like sexual assault, and you're kind of like poking and joking about it, which is cool that you're kind of like.
You feel like
I feel genuinely I feel like you can make fun of anything. Like there's nothing off limits. At least that's how I am. I know some people aren't like that and they're like, yo, you can't joke about that.
Yeah.
But to me it's like everybody has a different humor. So you can't judge another person's humor because you don't like it. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah. Have you ever had like a part where you feel like you uploaded or were making a video and then you stopped because you're like, this is just like too much? Do you ever feel like you pushed the envelope a little too far?
Nah, but there has been videos I've deleted that, and I don't even want to sound like this, like a dickhead, but there's videos where it's had like over millions of views and I've deleted it, just because some people asked me like, yo, like I don't think you should post that. I don't think, you know. And then when I was making that video, I didn't even like see those type of angles or stuff like where it could go. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just delete it, you know. But that's kind of how I am now. I feel like when I first started, it was kind of just like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. And no one can tell me anything.
How did you get started, like, doing skits?
So, from what I remember, I've always been making videos, and I've always been doing music since I was 17, 18. I've been doing YouTube. I've been doing Instagram, like TikTok when it came out. But I know when TikTok came out, I was like one of those people like, oh, you got TikTok, you're lame. And then I didn't get TikTok for like a whole year, I would say, almost. And then I was like, fuck it, everybody got TikTok, I'll get TikTok too. And then I fucking got addicted. And then I remember for a whole year, I posted every day consistently and nothing. I think like the highest amount of views I ever got was probably like 1,000.
Oh, wow.
1,000 views.
Yeah.
And I remember one day I was like, well, fuck this. Like, there's no point. So I just deleted the app and stopped. And then I remember, like, a couple months later, I got back on it. Excuse me, sorry. It's the beer.
Yeah. Now I get you. Yeah, same.
And what's it called? I remember I got back on it, and I was coaching. I was a soccer coach for my cousin's team.
Oh, wow.
And I remember after practice, I saw my uncle scream or something at a kid, and I thought it was funny. It reminded me of my dad when he used to scream at me when I would go to my soccer games and not score. So I remember just I was in the AutoZone parking lot, and I remember I was like, what if I made a skit like when I was in the back seat and my dad was screaming at me for not scoring a goal? So I remember I just put my phone and did the skit. It was only like a minute, and I genuinely didn't think it was funny. But then I accidentally pressed the like 2x to like speed it up, and then I posted it, and then it was probably posted at like 6 p.m. And I think by like the time it was like 9 p.m. it was like at 10K views, and I was like, "What the fuck? I'm famous!" Like, but that's all I thought it was gonna be, like you know. And then I woke up the next day, and it was like at 500,000, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I posted another one, and then that one reached 1 million, and then I just kept on posting ever since that day.
So that's kind of the origin of the 2x speed.
Yeah, pretty
thing.
much.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow,
now I
cool.
slow it down because
I
feel like when it's too fast, you don't really understand it. So now I just make it a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But,
Do you have a personal favorite skit like that you've done?
Honestly, you can't find this because I actually got banned. Like they banned my account.
I saw a video of you saying that you got banned.
I was at 1 million, bro, and they banned me, and that hurt. But it was on that account. Basically, this was not a good video. It didn't even go viral. But it was the day I kind of realized I was like, damn, like I dead ass felt like I was an actor because like when you make these skits, I don't really feel like an actor. Like, you know, when you see an actor on TV or a movie, you're like, you don't even think they're an actor. They're that character.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, like suspension of disbelief kind of.
Exactly. So I think it was like one of like Mexican mom confronting daughter that she's having like sex or something like that. And then it was just the way I was talking that I was like, bro, is this even me? Like, to me, it felt like I was dead ass like in a movie, like acting. I don't know how to explain it, but it was the only time I ever, and I really liked that skit because of that. I was like, wow, that was really good. And it wasn't like super funny or anything, but I'm gonna try and find that video. Someone probably has it out there.
But you felt like you got lost in the character.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was the only time. But as far as like a favorite skit, probably this last one I just did, as in that one got 43 million views. But it was hey, and before the podcast, I was like, people who talk about numbers are lame.
As soon as the camera's on, you're like, nah, like I love all my fans. Like, you're saying?
No, but do you guys know the Asher video is like, where are you at? I'm in North Liberty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I basically yeah. So I was like, bro, no one has done that in Spanish. Like no one has done it. So I did it. And honestly, I didn't think it was gonna go that freaking big, dude. But it went, but it went huge.
Yeah, my sister, that's her favorite of yours.
Oh, for real?
When I told she was watching, I was like, yo, you know he's gonna be on the podcast. She's like, no way. Yeah, so.
Yeah, dude. How does it feel when people like straight up are just like the characters that you play, like the dad especially? You're like, yo, this awakens something in me. Like, thank you for being that. Does it feel good, or does it feel like obviously you didn't plan for that, but like, how does that feel?
Honestly, when people, this is gonna sound so shady, but I promise you, like, I'm really not trying to be. But when people comment like good things, or send me like DMs like, yo, my day was bad, but your videos made it better, or something like that, I don't believe it. Like, I genuinely feel like I'm not as big as I think I am. So I'm kind of just like, bro, I'm a regular guy. Like, I just make a funny video. Like, it's not that serious, bro. But like, I appreciate the comment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. You're
I don't
just
know how
like
to explain
glazing.
it.
You're like, you guys are just glazing, like
No, not like that, but more of like, I don't know. It's just hard for me to believe that someone took their time out their day to comment that. I feel like they're bots. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I genuinely don't feel like it's a real person typing that, sending it, and then I feel like they're lying.
No, I get what you mean. Yeah, because I mean, I think that's hard. Like, even for us, like, we're not. You're way bigger than us, but even for us in our small.
Not even, bro. You guys are.
But come on, bro. Come on, it's okay. But even every now and then, obviously, because we talk about like serious stuff, people say like, "Oh, like this really helped a lot." Like, when we had Denny on, right, and she told her story, a lot of people messaged us.
Elote one or
when she was street vending, like a lot of people say like, "Oh, this means a lot that like this talks openly because it used to be such a big secret." Like, even then, like it's kind of like this weird disconnect with me where I feel like I'm just like doing my thing, you know? Like, I don't think this is me. This is more of like, I don't know, this just exists beyond me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Like, I totally get what you're saying.
But it's not like, I appreciate all the support, like all the love and things, but I just feel like it's not real. Like, it's like AI or some shit. I don't know.
I think sometimes it might be just, even in just the real world, sometimes accepting like compliments from people. Yeah. You're kind of like, do you for real feel that way? Yeah. And then sometimes, I think it's the same way, but it's,
like, are you just saying that just to say that?
Yeah. But now it's like the extra barrier because it's over the internet and not in
not in person.
So I think I get that. I was actually gonna ask you because a lot of the videos that you do, you're basically like screaming and like, you know, getting super into character. Do you ever go so hard that you actually start breaking down?
Nah, it's not that serious. Nah. I feel like that would be kind of weird. Like if I actually start breaking down mid video.
Well, I mostly just ask because it's sometimes I feel like you say that some of your content is hits, you know, yourself and what you live through. So I'm like, is it that it triggers your trauma sometimes and you're like, fuck, like I went too hard and like now I'm thinking about the shit that I went through when I was a kid and like all these things.
Nah, I could understand why if similar people that do like type of content like that, I could understand if they were to like break down or something like that, but not me. Like it's just at the end of the day, it's a skit. Maybe it's like what do they say? It's like you're hiding your internal trauma or some shit like that.
Yeah. Subconscious thoughts.
Yeah, but I mean, I just do this skit, and you know, I just try to do it the best I can. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
I get you.
The part where I would want to watch it if I wasn't me. Like as a viewer.
I get you. Yeah. I think it's interesting because I get where that question comes from.
Yeah,
because,
I understand.
Yeah, because definitely like you play it really well. Like maybe it's a testament to like how good your acting is.
Yeah.
But you play it really well. You play it like somebody who's for reals like
But that's
dealing with some shit.
That's the thing. Also, like I don't want to say it's acting because I feel like that's like disrespectful to actual actors.
Really.
You get me? Like they take the time and dedication to like go to school and act and all that shit. I don't do that. I don't like reading lines. I hate that. I've done it with like a couple, you know, influencers. Like I'm not gonna say his name, but there was one influencer where I was kind of like, damn, I really wanted to meet you, and I really thought you were funny, but until I seen how you actually record your skits or your content, I'm like, bro, this is the lamest way. I don't know. I just didn't like it. Obviously, everybody works differently, so I can't really like critique. But it was just like the way he was going about it, where it's like, nope, we gotta do it again. Nope, you gotta say this line. Nope, you gotta say it like this. Nope, you gotta do it like this. And I was at a point where I was just like, bro, I don't even want to do this no more. Like it's not even authentic. Because the way I do it is just, I literally tell Vision like, yo, hold the camera. And he's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't even know. Just give me a minute.
Really? So you kind of just do it like on the...
Yeah, just on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I don't like, I don't have lines on my phone where I'm like, I'm going to say this and then you're going to say that. And then I don't do that. That's lame to me. Like, I don't like
Dude, you would kill it as like a WWE wrestler. Like, that's just off the dome. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just off the dome.
So
like,
you just improv it, really?
Yeah. I love to. I guess that's what it's called, improv. I get when someone has to read lines and like, that's cool. That's how you work. If it works for you, that's cool. For me, it's like, I don't like doing that.
Do you think influencers take themselves too seriously sometimes? Because like I think you're being really humble about it. Like I think like obviously you deserve your flowers for the amount of performances that you put on. Because I'm telling you, it's really good. Yeah. But like the way you're speaking, do you feel like some influencers take themselves too seriously sometimes? Where they're like, I heard a clip of you talking about how like people are like, some people say doing influencers is harder than like a 9 to 5. Like, do you think some influencers are for reals like too into it, or do you think it really is that like grilling to like be keeping up on your phone and like be perceived by like millions of people?
I feel like I have to answer this question very like
carefully. Okay.
Because the first part I'm gonna say, and it could like probably get clipped, and they're gonna be like, "Nah, what the fuck?" But doing social media is a hard job. Okay, that's hard. Is it harder than a 9 to 5? It depends what 9 to 5 you got. To be honest, is it harder than the guy working construction? No, that's one, right?
Yeah.
But it is hard to entertain people. Like, I think people, because they've been so accustomed to being entertained every day, they don't realize, like, how hard it is to entertain people.
Yeah. That's a
they
good
don't
point.
realize, like, people are like, oh, I used to be like this, too, where it was like, how is cyberbullying real? Just turn off your phone, which is true to some extent. But that's if your life isn't on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you're making income on the internet, like that is your life. Like you can't just shut it off.
Yeah.
Unless you don't eat. So it's like, it is in some aspects hard. If you're just sitting in the camera, like it just depends. Like for example, you edit these podcasts, bro. It's hard as fuck.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And then you gotta cut. You spend hours because I gotta edit my YouTube videos too. It's a 2-hour long podcast. Then you gotta cut it to each person where they're talking. You gotta sit down, rewind, go back, cut it. Then you gotta do the subtitles. Then you gotta add the music, and then you gotta see like blurting, beeping out any cuss words. That way you get monetized and like shit like that. That's hard. It takes time. Is it harder than a 9 to 5? It just depends which like 9 to 5. You know.
Yeah, I get you. No, I think that's valid because for sure, like you said, that's a really good point that entertainment is hard. And it is a real job, too.
Yeah, it is a real job. I think a lot of people just forget it because most people hate their jobs, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, for someone that gets to actually, like, enjoy what they want to do, I feel like it's I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying.
I was going to say, like, I mean, I know you're like, I don't feel like I'm that big, but I feel like at least in LA and the people that I know, you're pretty big down here. Like, like a lot
Dude,
of
like, pretty sure all my friends know you.
yeah. Like, everybody I talk to knows you or sent me a skit of yours. So I was gonna say that I feel like at least in this time period, you're one of the my favorite skit like creators. Do you have any like skit idols that you looked up to or that you're like, I kind of want to be like him, like Caleb City or like, you know, those people, or not really?
Not really.
Yeah.
Damn, this is not gonna sound like I'm humble.
Yeah.
He's like, it's me.
It's just me.
I inspire myself.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't have like content creators that I watch consistently.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't gonna believe this, but I just literally make the skit, post it, and fuck off the app. Like, I don't try to be in the app too much. Like, I don't know about drama going on. I don't know anything about that. So.
No, I get what you mean, because I think people, or at least for me, I think people have kind of this. I don't watch podcasts really. Despite being on one, I don't really watch podcasts.
I do. I actually
yeah.
do watch. Not watch them, but I listen to them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have asked me like, "Oh, so you really like podcasts? You listen to them all the time?" I don't really listen to podcasts. I mean, I'll catch like the people we know, like I'll watch their clip, or but for me, I'm just like, I mean, I just do mine. Like I don't really watch them like that. Yeah. So I get what you mean by that.
I think it's also good for your brain to not be on the app a lot, especially if you're such a public figure in it. Because I think there has to be something bad about like listening to so many people's opinion on you, even if it's positive. You know, like you just
definitely your ego. I mean, I would say I definitely have a huge ego. Maybe I don't show it here because I'm on camera. Yeah. But I definitely, you know, like every other content creator, I do have an ego, you know, and that's something that I've been trying to work on, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, ego is like, it can sometimes be good. I mean, your ego protects you, right? It protects you from doing anything that like is self-deprecating. So it's not necessarily like about getting rid of your ego. It's more of like maintaining it. Yeah. You get what I mean? Because like, you got to know your worth too. Like,
but if you constantly hear like, oh, you're hella funny. Oh, you're this, you're that.
Yeah.
You're going to genuinely start to try and be that person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm a funny person.
Yeah.
But, like, if I constantly, like, agree with people calling me funny, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm the funniest guy ever. And then I'm going to start trying to be funny.
So you think you'll get cocky.
Yeah.
So so you feel like sometimes the way that, like, people kind of speak about you, it's kind of like this thing or, like, this figure that you're like, I'm just me. Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Yeah, like when you guys say like, "Oh, you're big in LA" or something, like I don't believe it. Yeah. It was like I was saying earlier, like people just be saying shit just to say shit, you know. And you guys probably truly mean it, and, you know. But it's just like in my brain, it's just like it's another day, bro. You're Bryan at the end of the day. You're like you're not Ybrazzy, you're Bryan. Yeah. So I try not to like fall into that, if that makes sense. Like I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and love, but I try not to like fall into that, because I feel like if I do, then I'm gonna be a real asshole, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I am that guy, and I'm
him.
Yeah. So I don't want to be like that.
So I guess going back to how you mentioned, like you're trying to work on your ego. What do you mean by that? Like you think for like a time period you had like a big ego? And like,
I think I did. I think that's why I got banned, because God wanted to humble me, to be honest. You know, because like maybe not online, but maybe as a person, like. I feel like at that time I was probably like, yeah, I'm the shit. Like I'm, you know, the biggest Mexican creator in the Bay Area. Like, you know, and when you start thinking like that, you start, I don't know, I feel like you probably become an asshole, or you are an asshole. And I think God was like, all right, let's humble you real quick and get you banned, and, you know, see if you can do it again.
How did you get banned? If you want to speak on it.
No, the way I got banned is literally I woke up one day. I go on my TikTok, and it just logged me out. And I was like, what the fuck? And then it took me like 5 minutes to log in. And I was tripping because I was like, fuck, I don't remember my password or the email I used. So I was like, how the fuck am I going to prove it's me? So it took me like 5 minutes to try and log in. And it just said, your account has been suspended. And I was like, what the fuck? And then as I was doing that, my cousin who helps me out film all my videos, he had access to my accounts because he helped me. Mm-hmm. And he was like, bro, you got banned. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, bro, I can't even log in. Like, I can't do anything. And what sucks is he had access to my accounts, but they also banned his personal accounts.
Oh, wow.
Which was like basically by association. Like, that's kind of fucked up. Yeah. But I felt bad on that. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I found out.
So you don't know what it was?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I genuinely feel like it was the government, bro. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but I genuinely feel like it was the government because I was making videos of my. I'm not sure if you've seen them. I don't do them now anymore, but it was Crazy Guy, where I was in a robe, and basically I would speak out against the government, and basically I would say like conspiracy theories, and which is true. But I would say it in a joking way, and every time I posted it, they would take down the video for misinformation or like, for example, in one of the videos of that Crazy Guy skit, I remember I was saying, and this is true, like this is factual. Wells Fargo basically would charge their clients like a penny. They would take a penny out every month, like from every single like client, and they have like 100 million like users, right? So if you take that into consideration, like they're making billions like yearly off doing that. Who's gonna notice a penny missing from your bank account? Like, let's be honest. Until they got caught up, right? Someone found out, they sued them, and they had to pay a fine. But that fine wasn't equivalent to what they made that whole. Let's say they made like $1 trillion that year from scamming, and they got fined like 100 mil. Like, you still won. Like, you still. So basically, that's what I was referring to, like in that video. And I remember it got taken down for misinformation, and I got a strike on my on my account. And it was videos like that where I would talk like that would always get taken down. Yeah.
No, I do believe you that it might have been because of that. Because sometimes, obviously, like we talk about a lot about like government stuff and like talk shit about the government. Basically,
I think one of the biggest ones was the one you duetted. Was when we talked, because the Edgar one is I personally think a lot of people missed the context of what he was saying, which is he was more talking about the police. And when that video I guess started blowing up, we got DMs from people who were like, "What was that guy?"
Yeah. So well, basically I was calling out like police, like a pro police like page. And then some guy had DM'd us. I don't think we've ever talked about this on camera.
Yeah.
Some guy DM'd us telling us like all the personal information of the guys who runs that page, saying that he was like basically like an ex white supremacist, like who was part of like a gang, like like showing us like his pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like sometimes you wind up accidentally stepping on some toes about people who really like take it really seriously.
No,
well, I believe you.
This is factual. I'm not even playing, and I might. Sorry if I get y'all.
Nah, it's cool.
No channel tomorrow.
No,
but like this is factual.
Yeah.
Like, and watching Abi. But this is factual. Basically, the government, like the administration of like each presidency, they submit like accounts they want the social medias to review.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I know the Biden administration and also the Trump administration, basically they submit like accounts, like their usernames to social, like Facebook, TikTok. I know definitely for TikTok. What's it called? What's another Snapchat and Instagram. Like all that. Yeah. Basically like, yo, we don't want you to take these accounts down, but we want you to take these accounts down. If that makes sense. So they do that. I think they do it every month.
That's
if I'm not
crazy. I didn't know that.
No, yeah.
I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it.
No, he's right. I don't know if you guys saw, but the Trump administration did it this year with the Epstein files. Did you see this? They gave like a bunch of social media, like obviously like conservative. I've never heard of them, but a bunch of conservative social media influencers, like the Epstein files, and that they're in charge of like releasing like the information. I mean that sounds fake too, but I swear, look it up.
I believe you guys because I don't know if you saw this where it was released that the Pentagon funded like a Mr. Beast video.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, you saw that, right? They funded like a Mr. Beast video, and everybody was like, "What the fuck is that about?" Why are they?
I feel like that's probably indirectly funding.
No, for sure. But that's why I'm like, I think like it's insane to think that the government isn't involved in.
No, they're definitely involved.
Yeah,
they're definitely involved.
No, 100%. Because like obviously, if they're in charge of like TV and all the other news that you see, obviously now social media is so big. Like, there's no way they're not gonna put their hand in the
they have
cookie
to
jar.
be in it.
Like,
they have to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now especially the heads of each app are best friends with.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
especially
with the
they're gonna take down the whole app. I mean, I'm sure they can take down individual creators, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's been time where we upload something on like TikTok or
And get
Instagram,
shadow banned.
and it's so crazy because it gets shadow banned, and because it gets like a bunch of likes, but it gets like no views. It can't be shared,
Yeah.
and it's sus. Like it makes me scared
Yeah.
because I'm like, like what if they're looking over at
It
my
just
house?
depends on the topics you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I try to stay far away from political shit. Like,
Yeah.
I have my own political ideas, and that's just me,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
brain, and that's it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go ahead and like spread
Yeah.
it to the world, like you know.
Yeah.
No, I get you. Because, I mean, it is scary. I mean, people in the past have been like, the government has taken them out.
Yeah.
And I don't mean delete their account, you know? I mean, take them out.
They get
sure.
permabanned.
Yeah, they get permabanned. Yeah. Dude, okay, so moving on a little. How did it feel like when you were first blowing up, like at least when it came to your personal life, like your family and your friends?
It felt kind of weird, like to be honest, because it felt cool, like seeing the numbers go up
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
stuff, but it felt like the same. Like I'm still like I have such a like big online presence, but I'm still like broke. so like nothing really changed, you know. But nah, I mean it feels cool. My
Yeah.
family at the beginning was like teasing me and stuff, like ya se cree esto y esto y esto, you know, regular shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it's kind of like, okay, yeah, like he got shit to do.
Yeah.
A lot of your content focuses on your like Mexican identity. Like, how does that feel? Do you feel more connected with your Mexican identity, or was it always like strong in your life?
I would say it was strong in my life. Like I've always, you know, been like that. My Spanish isn't the best, you know.
I don't know, bro. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
But no, that's just how I grew up, you know. In the house, it was always Spanish, and then at school, it's always English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, like living that life also because te trabas, bruh.
Yeah.
And like especially when like my dad, like when he has like medical like papers or stuff, and my mom, they're like, oh, like translate that for me. I'm like, what the fuck? How do I even say this? Like, how do I say like freaking bone marrow in Spanish? Like, I don't fucking know. Like,
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's an
Yeah.
experience a lot of, I think, Mexican kids have where
I-
they're like translators for their parents.
You mentioned it like briefly earlier where you said that, you know, sometimes you do the skits about the tios or like your dad or something like that. And obviously it's not like an actual, like your dad or an actually your tio. Since you said that your family does watch, do they ever like talk to you about that? Are they ever like, what, are you trying to say something? Do you ever get that or no?
nah. Honestly, my mom and my dad have never. I know they see it. They
Yeah.
see it. You
Yeah.
know. But they have never ever been like, yo, like, what's up with that video?
Yeah.
You talking
Yeah.
shit or something?
Yeah.
Like, they have never been like that. The
Yeah.
only thing my mom says is like, I shouldn't cuss that much. But then I'm like, then it's not gonna be cool because I be seeing like people trying to do like Mexican dad, and I'm not saying that every Mexican dad fucking cusses. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that,
Yeah.
but it feels so unauthentic when they try to be like a dad, like a mad Mexican dad, and they're not even cussing. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep
Nah,
it
yeah.
real.
Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest. And it just looks so, like, whitewashed to me. Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain it. So,
Yeah.
like, that's what I don't like. Seeing all these other creators trying to do that, it's like cuss a little or something, you know?
Yeah.
But I get it. I mean, like, if you don't cuss, you make more money. So,
Yeah.
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 Would you say? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Would you say you do have like a good relationship with your parents though? Even though like your content, how you said like it's catered to like parents and tios, like with your family, would you say you have a good relationship with them?
yeah, I would say I have a good relationship. Obviously, like every other family, we have our own problems and
Yeah.
stuff. But, no, I would say we have a good relationship for sure.
I was also going to say that I think it's interesting that you kind of just improv your skits because I think, at least in my opinion, the reason like your skits do so well is to me, they feel very authentic. Like I'll watch a skit and I'll be like, that's literally somebody I know. Especially
Bro, yeah.
especially the kids ditching class one. I'm like, bro, I knew like 5 guys exactly like that. You know what I mean? So I think that's
school.
yeah. And so it's interesting that when you talk about like the creator who should not be named who like writes the like lines and stuff like that, I can see how that would lead to it kind of being inauthentic because it kind of becomes a little polished, right?
Yeah, I just don't like it, but I can't really like knock them on it because that's their
Yeah.
way of working.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people just need a script to, and that's not bad or anything. It's
Yeah.
just like, to me, I hate people. There was this one time, and Vision was there. We were working with a creator, and he was basically telling me what to do,
Yeah.
like how to do my videos.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
because I was helping him do like a video.
Yeah.
And he was telling me like, no, do it like this, do it again, do it like that. And I didn't like it because it's like, bro, you have no idea how I work. Like,
Yeah.
don't tell me what to do.
You don't know me.
Yeah, type shit. You don't know me. But no, it's just some people are like that. Like some
Yeah.
people, they have a vision, as in
Yeah.
like, you need to do it like this and you need to say it like that. Like that's just how some people are. So like I respect that to a certain degree. But the way I work, that's why I could never be an actor. That's why I say I'm not an actor. Like when people say, "Oh, you act well," like I don't think that's acting. You know, because an actor is like takes time and dedication, reads his lines, emotion, like all that. I can't do that. Like if they were to be like, "Yo, like you gotta," how about you act in this movie? I'll be like, do I gotta read? I don't want to do that. Like I want to do it my way. Like I want to improv. Like I could go off that.
Would you ever consider doing like improv, like comedy, like stand up, or not really?
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Like,
nah,
actually,
I can't do it. It's because like I'm funny online
Yeah.
because I could edit myself to be funny online, but to be funny like on stage and people looking at you like make me laugh, I can't. Nah.
I think you do all right, bro. I was gonna say, how does it feel? Because one thing that I've always heard from, we have the podcast and we bring on influencers, and a lot of them are Mexican or just like Latinos. They talk about how they sometimes they get scared they're gonna be typecasted in just like that category. Like you're not like you're not a comedian, you're not a skits comedian, you're a Mexican skits comedian. Do you ever feel that pressure? Do you ever feel like you want to leave that spear or feel like chained to it?
No, I mean like at the beginning it was because I was just doing Mexican Dad. But he's mentioned like, bro, I love your super senior or your the kid in class. So I'm not just like Mexican Dad.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
But no, I don't feel that because at the end of the day, I do content for me. I don't do it for y'all. Like I do it for me. Like what I find funny. If you don't find it funny, like I don't care. Like
That's cool. I think that's the way to be.
Like
yeah.
it's just me. Like it's what I'm doing. It's my art. You know.
Yeah, that's what. Do you know who Quentin Tarantino is?
Mm-hmm.
He went on an interview and he said that about his movies. He's like the movies are for me. You guys are just invited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's how I see it. It's like I do my skits for me to post for me, so I can look back in the future and be like, that shit was hella funny.
Yeah.
No,
And if y'all fuck with it, y'all fuck with it. And if y'all don't, then too bad. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
I was you mentioned off camera about how I was surprised to learn this about how like the Bay doesn't really have a lot of Latino influencers. And I just wanted to see if you could expand on that a little bit. Cause I was surprised to learn that. I didn't know that.
No, I mean like I don't think it's like a surprise or anything because everything's out here in LA.
Yeah.
You get me? Like there's music, there's acting, there's a whole you know YouTube, like all that shit. Over there in the Bay, I would only say like it's just music.
Yeah.
Like it's just music. As far as influencers, I don't know, not a single one. Mexican influencers. But there is like a community of like black influencers out there. They're doing their own thing. But that's them. Like my community, nah.
Do you ever feel like isolated or like that you wish you had more of a community out there?
Yeah, I do. I do. But at the same time, it's kind of like I don't because if there's too many people, I feel like, and it's like I said, a person from LA is going to talk shit about LA and he's never been here. But I feel like if there's too many content creators out there in the Bay, then it's just competition and then everybody's just using each other and it's not like, then what's the point?
So is that like the aura that LA gives from people who are from the Bay?
Yeah.
Really? I mean,
much,
I guess I see that, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could see that.
Because it's a game out here. I feel like because you guys live
game.
here,
Yeah.
you guys are used to it. So it's like when you have something, you don't see it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when it's always in your face, you don't.
You're desensitized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel like someone that's not from here could tell you, like, bro, like all you guys basically use each other.
Yeah.
You guys are, trying to see who's at the top.
Yeah.
You guys will help each other out just until you get on and then you forget about the rest, like.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I could see that. I guess because we live here, it's kind of, I feel like I could spot people like that. Or like if you talk to somebody, I'm like, man, this guy has no interest in actually getting to know me. I could tell he just wants to like collab or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess for us, it's easier because thankfully all the people we've met and talked to aren't like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think the Latino community, the Latino influencers that we know are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Are you guys just trying to do Latinos only?
I don't know. I wouldn't say we're just trying to do Latinos only, but it's like it just seems so easy, you know. It's like so natural for us. So I think it's where we get like kind of comfortable. But we're open to everybody. I mean, we don't really exclude anyone.
Like I'm multicultural. My mom's Chinese,
Bro,
Yeah.
I hella thought you were gonna say I'm biracial.
yeah. Well, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's something that we try to do. You know, we try to
Yeah.
incorporate. I just think for now, that's kind of like where we found our footing.
Yeah.
Wait, you say you're Chinese?
My mom is. My
Oh,
dad's
shit.
Mexican. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what's up.
So
Yeah.
I guess in that vein, I'm like, I'm always open to hearing like other
Yeah.
people, you know, other
I think
cultures. and
for
Can you
us-
tell?
Nah, I don't want to sound racist.
Be like, hell yeah, I could tell.
No, I was gonna say, well, I think for us, it kind of just naturally happens because
Yeah.
we're Mexican. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the topics that we know and we talk about them is because we lived through those things as Mexican Americans.
Yeah.
So it kind of just fell there, and it's kind
Yeah.
of like the way our show kind of got influenced.
Mm-hmm.
But
And people seem to crave it too. Like
Yeah.
it's just
They love this.
Yeah, they just love it. Like we're like we gotta give you what
They can't get enough of it.
we gotta give everybody what they want, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if this is what people are
Yeah.
asking of us, then this is what we're trying to do.
yeah, well, because it's cool, because how he said, a lot of people do give us that instant feedback of like, oh, like what you guys are doing is great, because there's nobody like you guys who is openly talking about these types of topics. So like for us, it's like, okay, it motivates us a little more of like, okay, what do people want to see? But again, like we're not closed off to just that. We're open.
I think
to
that's
all
good.
Of that.
Yeah.
I think that's good that you want to like not branch out, but like are willing to branch out at the same time, because
for
you don't
sure.
want to be like stuck.
Yeah,
There's only so
exactly.
many Mexican influencers.
There's only so many Mexicans, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
The, what's it called? Yeah, because I was gonna say, shit, I lost my train of thought. My bad, guys.
Oh no, yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I think for now that's just kind of like what we fell into,
Yeah.
because I feel like I mean, like I said, it feels a little like egotistical, but like I feel like some of the topics that we talk about, I personally don't see the people of our background talking about that, and that's why I think for now it's like people enjoy it, because it's like, oh, finally, like that community is getting some
Speaking
like
up about it.
yeah, speaking up about it, talking about it. But like you said, I never really thought of it as like this is the forever game.
Yeah.
I always feel like eventually I think we'll come to a point where it's like, all right, I feel like we've said what we wanted to say. Like I want to hear what other people have to say. You know what I mean?
Type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, type shit, dude. Yeah. Go ahead, dude. Let us know. Get vulnerable with us right now.
Yeah.
Let us know something vulnerable about your childhood.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
I mean, I don't. I feel like we've all had the same life, and it's just like same sad story.
Yeah.
You know, parents, going through shit, kid going through shit, like same shit. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
How did your family end up in the Bay? Like, because I have heard from people from the Bay that like obviously you don't see a lot of Mexicans move up because just like geographically the border's closer down here.
Yeah.
So how did your parents end up in like the Bay?
From my understanding, I honestly don't know. They just ended up there.
Yeah.
You know. I know they came over here legally. But
Wait, what does that mean?
no, I was going like this.
Oh.
But they were here legally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's it called? Yeah, they just stayed here. I guess somewhere around like Oakland, San Francisco, and then they just fell down there. Came to visit, Honestly, I feel like they originally like get here like Bakersfield, LA, but then they somehow like they go wherever work is.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter. Like
No, for sure. Like
and that's just how they end up there.
yeah, for sure. Like I don't really know what your family's background is, so I won't speak on it. But I mean, like for my dad, like he was talking about how he grew up and they would work like the farms, like the fields and stuff. So he was like, we would just end up wherever the work was. Like we follow it during the season. So I feel like that makes sense. Where
Like,
sometimes it's like
I know for sure my grandpa, like he would come to the United States, because they would basically pay for him to come out here, work, and they'll send him anywhere.
Yeah.
And then they'll send him back. And, he made all that bread and kept it in Mexico. So it's just wherever work was, like that's how they basically ended up at. And it happens to be in the Bay.
There are like Mexicans. Are there a good amount of Mexicans in like the Bay?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Because I remember when I was up there, but I was in San Francisco, so I don't know. If
Obviously,
San
there's
Francisco's different.
more Mexicans here, obviously. But there's a lot. There's a lot, especially in San Jose. There's a lot of Mexicans.
Would you say there's like small cultural differences that you notice, like when you come down here and you see like the community in LA versus like the community up there? Are there like small little subtle differences that
I just feel like here is bigger.
Yeah.
So you see it more like in your face. Over there's it's big, but it's not like too in your face, if that makes sense.
I get what you mean.
No, I get you. Yeah, and like over here we got like, well, I mean, we got a bunch of other Latinos too, like Salvadorians and like Guatemalans.
Oh yeah, close to the border, right?
Yeah, over there we got a lot of Salvadorians too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of Salvadorians.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, do they have good Mexican food up there? Dude, I'm thinking like North Cal's like on the other side of the planet. I don't know why.
No, they have good Mexican food. Compared to LA, obviously LA is gonna win. I give it to y'all on that. He sounds like he wanted me to say that. He's like, say it, boy. Say it.
Clip that right there.
But the Bay has really good Mexican food.
Yeah, I had culture shock when I went up there.
Yeah,
because at least for me, well, I was living in San Francisco State, like in the campus. So for me to get basically,
but that's a
to
lot
the
of white
area,
people.
yeah.
And
So
Asians
for me to get Mexican food or
Yeah,
Latino food, I had to go to the Mission, and that was a mission to get to.
That's what they call it, the
but
mission.
it basically felt kind of like Los Callejones vibes, but a little more like homey. Like it wasn't like very alley wise. There was like a lot of like houses and like a lot of like, you know, the small like farmers markets and all that. But you found like a lot of like mom and pop shops there. But it was so hard, at least for me as a student that didn't have a car there. It was a little bit of a mission to like get there. But for me, I was like, I can't find any good like burrito spots, any good like taco spots. I had to get used to what they had there. So I did have a lot of Vietnamese food.
Like if you want to go, like if you want to see like a lot of Mexicans in the Bay Area, you go to like San Jose. You go to, well, not in the Bay Area, but around the Bay Area. Because some people wouldn't consider San Jose Bay Area. But San Jose, Sacramento, Fairfield, Concord, like it's like a hub right there type shit. But like they're not gonna be all in San Francisco or Oakland because that's mostly blacks and whites. But it's usually the smaller towns that are overpopulated with a bunch of us.
With a bunch of Mexicans.
You know, I actually didn't know you were from the Bay Area.
Oh, okay. A lot of people think I'm from here.
Yeah, I thought you were.
I will never be from here.
You have like this aura kind of
type
like,
shit. Okay, say it again, twin.
I don't know what it is. Like you do seem like you're from SoCal.
I don't know. I kept getting like IE kind of
IE?
vibes from you.
I heard like LA and IE got beef, but aren't y'all like the same or some shit? Like
I mean,
I think. Okay, well, I've said before that I feel like personally the beef is a little one-sided, and I don't mean that like in any kind of disrespectful way. I just had never heard that there was beef until I met people from the IE telling me there was beef. You get what I mean?
Type shit.
Like
so, you walking in the hallways with your headphones on,
and
then someone's like, "What's your deal?"
Yeah, and I'm like, I didn't know. I think it's just because the IE is like, what is it, like an hour drive?
It's like an hour and a half.
It's like an hour drive. That it's like at what point it's like, well, I don't know that's LA per se. So
I think that's where the beef is.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe
because you're basically telling them like. You're
not from here.
Yeah. So I think so. That's what it is. But I've also like the people I met from the IE. I think they're cool. Like,
they're all cool.
You know,
we're definitely different though.
Yeah, and I feel like the IE also like wants to uplift itself too. Like, kind of like how you said, there's not a lot of Latino creators in the Bay. I feel like credit to Saul and the IE and friends. Like, I feel like they kind of started that, like raising up the IE. What'd you say, like
market
like
value?
The name?
Like just the exposure,
brand.
the exposure of the IE. Because and then I think that's also where like the beef kind of started. Because I don't know, I personally feel like it's more of a newer thing. But that's me.
I have seen like influencers and other people who are like working LA diss the IE, but like at least to me personally, I've never seen like where it really comes from.
Yeah, I to me, I've always felt like if there is beef, it's in the influencers. It's not so much like from the day-to-day
like
people.
no street turf type shit.
Yeah, because like. I don't want that. I don't want to say more and sound disrespectful. You know what I mean?
The only reason I have learned about like the IE is when I was in college, I would be like, "Oh, where are you from?" And people would be like, "Oh, I'm from LA." And I'd be like, "Oh, what part?" And they're like, "Riverside." I was like, "That's like Inland Empire. That's not LA."
Yeah.
But people,
Damn.
but-
That's where the beef is at. That's where the beef is at.
but like,
Which camera I look into that one? That's where the beef is at.
No, but like the thing is that I started
He's
realizing
saying we don't get it.
No,
Yeah.
that I started realizing is that people would say Riverside or San Bernardino because nobody knew those places.
Yeah.
Like kind of like not to like how you say Bay Area, right? But you don't say specifically where because a lot of people don't know where, right?
Yeah, type
It's
shit.
kind of like that where it's like people say LA because everybody knows what LA is, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows what Los Angeles is,
Yeah.
but nobody kind of I guess at the time.
So where's the
knew.
cutoff then?
What like for like what's
LA?
LA?
On like
Because to
Ontario,
me, like when you say Ontario or San Bernardino,
Fontana,
i.e., like to me that's all
Riverside.
L.A.
To me,
Like that's all
no,
L.A.
because like there's still Orange County between us.
To me,
So
I feel
it's
like
like-
it cuts off where you can stop seeing the downtown by sight. I feel like you can see downtown by sight from a lot of places, and I feel like once you stop being able to see it with your eyes, you're not really in
So
LA
like, there's
anymore.
no line where it says like not L.A.
That's me. Yeah.
No, it says
I mean,
county.
there
There is.
Yeah,
It says like
but-
county line.
Yeah.
It'll
So
say,
what
like-
is this county? Like L.A. County?
LA
Yeah.
County.
Because it's
Okay.
like right
LA.
there.
It goes
So
all the
what's
way.
the next
It goes
county?
all the way to Long Beach,
Long Beach.
and then
Is
you'll
that
see.
not L.A.?
No, that's LA County.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's because it's complicated. you
Yeah.
know? It's
Yeah,
like-
that's
it's
why I
like-
don't understand.
Long
Yeah.
Beach. Long Beach is its own city, but the county is LA County.
The-
LA
yeah.
County is huge.
Yeah.
Like it's huge. But
I
then
noticed-
there's Orange County, and then which is like Huntington Beach.
So Orange County is
Newport.
not L.A.
No.
No, I don't consider it. Yeah.
And
If
don't-
anything, if there is beef, I always thought it was more between LA and OC because OC is racist. They're always like, they are racist.
They are
Why-
very conservative.
They're very racist.
They
They're
are.
always-
So do you guys think that being a conservative is racist?
I think there's a lot of things that honestly, yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Really?
Wait, what did you say? Being conservative is racist?
Like, do you think being conservative is racist?
I think
like
that,
if someone has conservative values,
but
is
I
that
guess,
racist?
I guess for me, I'm just like, what conservative values? Because I feel like right now, the way I see it is like, well, the people that you're supporting are pretty openly racist. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I personally think Donald Trump is racist, right? And I'm kind of like, well, if you're kind of being like, yeah, I'm with that, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, what else do you leave me with? You know what I mean?
type shit.
Yeah. You disagree?
Type shit. Hey, no,
Oh,
you know,
oh.
like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I feel like if you're a conservative, you know, I feel like, damn, why did I ask this? Wait, what's your answer actually?
I feel like a lot of the conservative values and like ideas are very racist and like
Yeah.
homophobic, transphobic. Like a lot of their ideals, right?
Yeah.
If you're talking about like Republicans, I feel like maybe some of them have those conservative values, and then there's like the other ones who probably don't. But I think those are extremely different things.
Well, and then I guess the way I also see it is like, I think there's people who are like, nah, I'm conservative, and they'll be like this, and that, right? And I'll give you an example. So, do you remember when the Washington football team, they're called that now, but before they were racist. Yeah. I didn't want to say it because people consider it a slur. But
Wait, what's wrong with saying?
because people consider it a slur. It's like
It's like a Native
the Native
Native
Americans.
American like slur.
yeah. So
But do the Native Americans consider that a slur, or is it white people?
well
considering that a slur?
well that's what I was gonna add on to, right? Is
Hey, what's up, guys? We wanted to take a quick moment to educate our listeners, especially those who might not be aware that the word just used is in fact a slur. In this episode, Brandon discusses how the original owner of what is now the Washington Commanders was a pro-segregationalist and how the team's origins are deeply rooted in racism. However, in the moment, we neglected to explicitly state that the term itself is also offensive and highly derogatory to Native American communities. The term has long been used as an insulting and contemptuous term for Native Americans, and is also a disparaging stereotype rooted in violence. Because of this painful history, many Native communities have long called for its removal from sports teams and popular culture. With that in mind, we're using this intermission as an opportunity to acknowledge and clarify its harmful nature. We believe language carries weight, and that understanding the impact of our words is essential to building a respectful and inclusive space for all of our listeners. We appreciate you taking a moment with us for that clarification. With that said, let's get back to the conversation.
so like a conservative value would be like, people are so sensitive, like that doesn't mean anything, right? So the guy who owned that team, who started that team, he was the guy who would campaign against black people playing in the NFL. So he's the one who named the team that, and he was a huge like, why I don't want black people playing in the NFL. I don't want black people playing in the NFL. And it wasn't until the LA Rams broke the color barrier and brought black people into the NFL. So I think that's where I kind of have like a little bit of a, I don't know what the word is, but like, so like at face value, I think people would be like, you know, like, what does it matter? It's just like a name, right? Mm-hmm. But like, if you slowly, very quickly be like, well, the guy who owned the team and made the team and named the team was very like, I want segregation in football. So you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of values that some people who would be like, I'm not racist, I just have conservative values, but it's pretty quickly where you trace back those values and they have some sort of really racist or surprising origin. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it? You don't want an opinion on this?
No.
No, it's not that. It's just like, I mean, other people can see it. This is not my opinion. I'm just, but
I get you.
Other people could say it the other way about liberals. I mean, liberals are supposedly for abortion, which some would consider, a child. Yeah. So a lot of people could call those liberals baby murderers. Yeah. And if you support that, you're a baby murderer. That's how some people see it. Yeah. So I feel like we shouldn't really judge like on that because you're not fully one side. Yeah. Like me, for example, there are some liberal opinions that I fully agree on, and there's some conservative ideas that I fully agree on. Yeah. Am I like one side? No. I'm not that type of person to be like, I'm this or I'm that. It's just like, I agree with some stuff and I don't,
Mm-hmm. I guess for me, like personally, I think a lot of just being conservative has always been tied to a little more of being regressive. Because I feel like a lot of their ideas and like values seem very regressive. Like they want to stop and undo everything that we've done to kind of progress from like, like having how we used to have segregation, right? And like that's like wrong, right? Yeah. So it's like there's those things, right? Or women, working or getting degrees. Like I think a lot of those things are very regressive. Yeah. Like wanting to change that and go back to the things that it used to be. But it's like you guys fully know that a lot of those things were wrong and were inhumane, And I think that's why for me, like conservatives are seen in that light, where it's seen that they were very much racist. They were very much sexist. Like they were all these things. And I think that's why, like for me, I categorize them in that because their history has been in that.
I get you. Yeah.
And then, sorry to cut you off, but now the other side, and again, I'm not choosing like a side or anything. It's just like
you're asking questions.
Can the conservatives say the same about liberals? As in, like, okay, there's not. I don't think every liberal agrees with this, but they're allowing minors to transition. Minors under the age of 18, so kids, to transition. Wouldn't you say some conservatives would be like, that's regressive and that's hurtful to our country? Yeah. And the fact that you support leaders like that means that you're part of the problem. Well, so that's what I'm saying. It's like everybody has like something bad, as in like everybody has something to say. Like everyone has something to say. Yeah. That's why you shouldn't, at least me in my opinion, like I wouldn't be like conservatives are racist or liberals are baby murderers or like I wouldn't be like that. You know? It's just everybody has their own opinion. And,
Well, I could see that. I think for me, it's just more like, this is just my personal opinion. I just have always been like, I feel like everybody deserves rights. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when it comes to like abortion, right? I feel like you're fully within your right to believe abortion is wrong. If you want to believe abortion is wrong, that's cool. Yeah. But I feel like I don't think because you think that means nobody's allowed to do that. Yeah. I feel like that's more where my side is like, I think everybody deserves the individual opportunity to decide whether they think that's right or wrong. If you think that's wrong, cool, don't get one. I think that you shouldn't be forced to get one if you think that's wrong. But I do think that there's situations where I'm like, I think people and women deserve the right to choose. Whether it's like people who suffer from incest or suffer from rape being forced to carry their infants to term. I think, and people go, oh, well, I don't know about that. But those are the kinds of things that I think lawmakers need to think about. because that those situations do happen, and you could see that. Or with the transgender things, like I understand that to a lot of people that's a culture shock, right? To kind of see the fluidity of genders, or how what do you mean like underage kids are getting sex changes? I think that gets thrown around a lot in terms of like, oh, that happens. But I think when you actually sit down and talk to the people who are behind that, it doesn't happen like that. I know that you hear a lot about that in the news, saying that people do that, but it's more about how kids deserve the rights to express their identity. And when it comes to expressing their identity, sometimes they talk with doctors and therapists saying like, what's the plan that we make for you? I've personally never heard of a kid actually going through a sex change. I know that's what the thing happens, but me and Julie were talking about it, about how it's a lot of a misnomer. So I guess for me, when it comes to conservatism and people being like, I'm staunch conservative, everything, I feel like to me, I'm just like, but I'm always going to be on the side of rights. Like I'm always going to be on the side of people having the autonomy to their bodies and choosing what they.
You in your mind, you don't believe conservatives are for rights.
I think for the most part,
do you like the average conservative guy?
Yeah.
You don't think he's like
he
wants to take away my rights? Like, is that how you think?
I think the average conservative is in the support of things that are regressive in rights. Like right now, abortion is illegal. Like it's not federally protected. And I feel like a federal protection against abortion would be a right. So I think people will be like, they're taking it away. But I'm like, I think there's rights that aren't there or protected to begin with. You know what I mean? Like whether it's, what's it called? Birthright citizenship. Like
but like that's, sorry to cut you off, but that's why I don't even try and talk about political stuff, because I just like asking questions.
No, I get you.
But it's just like,
good.
What do you consider a right?
Yeah.
As in like, because in the conservative mindset, it'd be like, you want it to be a right to kill a baby? Like that's how they're thinking.
Yeah.
You get me? So how would you even argue against that?
Well, I think the way that people argue against it is
and could you even blame them for thinking that way?
Well, the reason that people argue against it, or this is what I always say. I've always been against the whole. I hate that people call it pro-life and then pro-choice, because I think it's kind of like a marketing scheme. Because if on the face value you hear pro-life and everybody's be like, yeah, I'm pro-life. I want people to live. You know what I mean? But in reality, I think the whole question is, are you pro-choice or not pro-choice? You know what I mean? And I think to me, the way people explain it is ultimately the fetus is part of the woman. It's the woman's body. She's making the baby. And for a certain amount of time, it's a part of her. It's not viable enough to be its own life. Scientifically wise, it's an embryo. It's part of her. So I think at those points, to me, I'm just like, well, the woman has the choice to choose or decide what happens with her own body.
For you,
yeah.
When is it considered a baby?
I think once it doesn't need a woman or person to keep it alive. I think once when it's viable.
So how many months?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. No, like just in your opinion, like estimate. Like for you, if you saw like a woman,
well, like
that's
preemies,
1 month pregnant,
I would have to
9
know.
9 months pregnant.
I would have to know the actual like trimester that it becomes viable by itself. But that's late trimester, right? You would know more than I do. The third, that's the third one. Because I think after it's once it becomes viable on its own, then I think it's considered its own individual person because it's viable on its own.
So you don't have is there a cutoff where you'd be like,
for sure? I just don't know the exact time frame.
So let's just say like, and I like asking these questions to see how.
For sure.
At the end of the day, like your opinion is your opinion. Like that's just how I am. Of course, I genuinely don't care. Like as not about your opinion, but like I mean,
no, I get it.
I mean, like I don't care what you really believe. Like, I just care what I believe.
Yeah.
But let's say a woman that's 9 months pregnant, right? If she wanted to abort, in your eyes, is that okay?
No, but that doesn't happen though.
But I'm just saying. I'm just asking.
A 9 month pregnant woman, if she wants to abort, I don't know that I would agree that that's okay, because I think at 9 months it would be viable on its own.
Okay.
That's generally accepted to where the baby is born. But I do.
So let's say 5 months.
5 months. I think I don't know. Like it would have to genuinely be when it's. Can you guys Google when it's viable by itself?
Yeah, sure.
Whenever it's viable by itself, like whenever they say like it can be born and it could live and have a life that isn't suffering, because obviously you could say, well, it's born this, but then it's like, well,
so
at least
you don't,
thinking. Oh,
sorry to cut you off, but you don't think it's life at conception?
Personally, I don't think it's a human life. I don't think it's its own life. No, but I think because it's part of the woman, it's life. But it's her life.
What about the woman in the podcast?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I feel like it just seems in the beginning it's still just like I guess sort of like an organ. Like
Well, in the beginning, it's a zygote, right?
Yeah.
That's when it's.
Yeah. It says 24 weeks, just to give you guys a fact check. It says
How
24
long? That's
weeks.
4. Hey, that's 2 months.
6 months?
6 months.
Well, because I was gonna say
Yeah.
usually like
Oh, stupid.
because I'm like usually premature, and like when people end up having that is around like at least what I've heard is I think 5 to like 7 months
Yeah.
is like premature.
Yeah.
And that's because like they haven't fully grown a lot of
Yeah.
like their body, their organs,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
But as a woman like you, if there was another woman who got who wants to get an abortion at month 8 or 7,
Yeah.
is that okay in your eyes?
I guess I don't really know that much. I think it's still very premature. But I know that I've heard through doctors that it's not really allowed because it is already like a life of like it's already fully developed. So it's it's not fully developed, but it's kind
there.
of
It's almost
there.
there.
Yeah.
It's almost done.
Yeah.
It's done cooking.
Yeah, so I think in that aspect, yes, it sort of is just like, but again, that's like the woman's choice to do it or not.
Yeah.
But I think the doctors would probably advise her not to, because then that's already something liable
Yeah.
to like do.
Yeah.
And that's why I think when it's talked about, it's usually talked about doing it early on.
Yeah.
And I think when it's talked about, it's not just like, okay, she said yeah, but I think they really try to talk to her and be like, are you sure about this? Is this really something that you want? Like, I know that there's a lot of different steps that go into it. And again, like, women still go through a lot with like having it and not having it.
Yeah. No, for sure. Because I think I was going to say that I had lost my train of thought. That you're right. I don't think after a certain time period it's allowed unless it's life threatening to the woman.
Yeah.
But now that's reversed.
Yeah.
In Texas, they're not allowed to have it, even if it's life threatening.
Yeah.
Until like I remember I was reading about this where they told her like, yes, like this baby isn't gonna be it's not gonna be born basically correctly. And once that happens, like it's going to be life threatening to you.
Yeah.
But we can't do anything under the law until it happens like in the moment.
Yeah.
So that's where I would say like, because I think those scenarios happen. And that's when I would say, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think like life is full of context. Like we're talking about these kind of like in absolutes, like an 8-month abortion rate, but in full like reality, life is full of context. Like you don't know if maybe they need an abortion because exactly that, like it's life threatening, or maybe it is wrong because in the context it's just a mom who genuinely just doesn't want to have a baby and wants to kill it. I think in life there's like full context, and I think to try and answer this right now, it's kind of like there's really no way to kind of judge because you need to know what exactly
I guess
the context is.
The final question I would ask for you guys
For sure.
would be, is it wrong for an individual to believe that life begins at conception?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't
And
think.
would it be wrong for them wanting to protect that life?
No,
by restricting abortion?
I think for me, the way I see it is I 100% agree that you are entitled to believe whatever you want. If you believe life begins at conception and that's for you, or you draw the line, like I don't want an abortion, that's your choice to make. Yeah. But I don't think that you can then use that to tell other people to be like, nah, like you're wrong.
What do you guys think I think?
But I was like, no, I was just going to say that I think that just because you believe something, like just because one person believes like that there's a God and that life begins at conception and that this is like already like a life that you need to protect, you could believe that and that's cool. But like why do you then need to control my decisions?
Yeah.
Like, well, how does that make you any better than me? Because
Yeah.
nobody knows for reals until we die, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you don't know that, like, I don't think you have the responsibility.
I feel like that's my biggest thing is that I feel like there's always this talk about how I should respect their values. I should respect their religious values specifically. And I'm like, I'll respect that. I'll respect you that you believe this thing, right? But you also have to respect that I don't have those values. I'm the type who probably, you know, like it's whatever to me, right? But I'm respecting you, so why can't you respect me? Like, why is it that you, as like somebody, you know, how he said, like, if you believe that, you know, conception is at once it happens, right? But why do you have to keep throwing down that on me and making me seem like I'm the bad person just because I don't believe that?
Because I think at the end of the day, it's a belief, and that's your belief that you are 100% entitled to believe. But I think oftentimes it's presented as an absolute, because you don't even know. I might be a different religion, and I'm like, okay, and my religion is totally cool with that, and that's my belief that it doesn't happen that, and that's why I'm saying, like, if you believe abortion is wrong, cool, that's fine, that's your choice, and you don't have to have one. But I do believe you should have the ability to choose whether or not you have or don't. And that's just my opinion.
What do you guys think I think?
I don't know, dude.
Honest.
I think
based off the questions I asked.
I don't think asking these questions immediately means that like you're conservative or anything. Yeah. I think that there never should be anything bad about asking a question or like challenging people's
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that?
Because I think I just believe that if whatever you believe is not strong enough for you to defend it, then why are you believing it truthfully? You know, like asking us questions and like that, I don't think that's innately a bad thing or means that you're conservative, right? Just because you're asking, I guess, being devil's advocate. Sure. I really wouldn't know what you are.
Crazy thing is, I'm a hardcore Republican now. Realistically, I agree with most of what you guys are saying. My genuine opinion is like, look, I'm not a woman, so I'm gonna be speaking like a man. You know, I'm gonna be thinking like a man. But overall, just because, you know, I am Catholic and stuff, I do believe life begins at conception. Right? And I do think it is wrong that you do abort it. Now there is, like you said, instances where you know, shit happens. So that's up to the mother. You know, like, I don't think someone should tell her, like, you know, you should do this, you should do that with your body. That's not cool. I don't want someone to control me with my body, you know? But, you know, it's just feel like that's something the girls got to argue about and not the men.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Overall, I still feel like you can still say it's wrong and you shouldn't, like, get, like, damn near killed for it type shit, I get you know? Like, what I do find wrong is that, like, let's say, like, there's a woman and I don't even want to get into it.
I don't want to.
I mean, like, fuck it. But, like, I just think it's like, it's the way I'm going to say it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I think if a woman is sleeping around and just getting abortion after abortion after abortion, I think that's wrong. I think that's fucked up. I think you should own up to the consequences of your actions. And I think the men need to step up, and because it's very hard. Like, this is a lot of people like to think that, like, women just, like, get abortions, like, willy-nilly. Like, no, that's traumatizing as fuck. I can't even imagine that because I'm a guy.
It's painful too.
But it's traumatizing as fuck, you know? And I think there needs to be more men to, like, step up and be like, yo, like, I'm gonna take care of this. Like, I'm not gonna leave you alone. But we also have to keep in mind, like, who are we sleeping with? Like, if you're sleeping with a broke dude, you're not wearing protection, you know, and then you go and, like, you know, abort the baby. Like, I think that's wrong. Like, you know, you shouldn't, man and guy. I mean, man and guy, man and woman. Like, you know, if you can't, like, as a guy, you should know the consequences. Like, every time you go and sleep with a girl, there's a possibility that you could have a kid. And you need to be responsible for that kid. You can't just run away. Like, that's not what men do. Like, you got to take care of that kid and that woman. You know? And the woman also has to be like, yo, if I'm going to sleep with this guy, I have to make sure that he has a job, he has a car, and he's going to take care of me. You know, so I think it just takes two to tango.
Yeah.
But overall,
yeah.
it's the woman's choice. If she wants to kill it, she wants to kill it. She wants to keep it, she wants to keep it. At the end of the day, we all respond to one person, and that's God. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you should have done this, you should have done that. I don't know your life. It's none of my business. It's your decision. So
Yeah, like I guess in the same vein, right? Like that's your opinion and that's your belief, so I can't really challenge that. I think just like context. Also, I don't know if you knew this, but we went to Catholic school for 9 years.
For 9 years.
Yeah, so we know like
all three of us.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So like trust me, like we know like this is basically something that we've like
You guys have heard.
Yeah, have heard
Yeah,
like
we've
we
heard.
faced like it
Yeah.
isn't, and we're also Mexican. Most Mexicans are Catholic.
Yeah.
Like so, it's been like a question of debate. So like I think as far as like your beliefs go, like I don't challenge that. Like mainly because that's your opinion, and I really doubt anything that I say could ever really change it, and not nor would I want to.
Yeah.
So I see where you're kind of coming from.
Yeah.
Because I think if that's your religion, then that's your religion.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt like I think everybody has the freedom to practice their religion, but I also everybody has the freedom to not practice it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so to me, I'm like, if in your religion or in your belief system, that's what you believe, cool. But like how they were saying, I don't think that it's fair to other people who don't believe to be like, nah, you're completely wrong. If it's in your life and that's the way that you want to act, that's cool. I don't have any problem with that. But my problems always come from when people try to force it on other people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my stance on that. Is I feel like you said, I completely agree with you when you said, I think it's the women's choice. It's their ability to choose. And as a man, I'm not going to sit here and be like, you can't do this, you can't do that. I think it's the women who deserve the opportunity to discuss amongst themselves what they feel is right for their own bodies. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
We got hella political, bro.
Yeah, but it's cool, dude. I actually enjoy this because I think a lot of people who watch this kind of crave for like this type of discussion, because obviously the three of us have very similar opinions, and I think you bring a very interesting perspective to the table. Because we're like, it's funny for me to keep going back to the Mexican thing, but we are all Mexicans, so like there is a lot of people who are Catholic in our religion, and I'm sure they like to hear like, I guess this like conversation because it's important. It shouldn't be taboo to talk about these things.
No, I just feel like it's just, you know, it's something difficult to talk about, but I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I shouldn't even be speaking on this. Like, this should be her. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
her,
I
and
get you.
her girls and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's just how I see it. But no, I agree with you guys where it's just like, let the woman do what she want to do, you know? Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if she wants to kill it, she wants to kill it, you know? At the end of the day, we're going to answer to God, so
Yeah.
I can't
I
judge
think
you for it.
a lot of it is just like, I guess having the open discussion, right? Instead of being like, no, like you're completely wrong. Like what you're saying is wrong. Like I don't believe what you're saying. I think that's why this is like, I guess also important if just like, you know, you're curious as well, right?
Yeah.
You're curious and you want to know. And I think just you having that openness to like talk about it, even though you know, like neither one of us might change our minds or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think as long as we have that open mind to have that discussion, to be like, okay, because there's other people who are watching who probably have the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Who probably have the same questions, but we don't ask those questions because we're kind of like, no, like this is our own opinion and we have similarities, right? But you asking that, probably somebody was watching and was like, I have those similar questions. What are your stands?
Yeah.
And I feel like just having that open discussion and not having us like fight and argue.
Do you guys like my opinion?
Can you fill out this questionnaire?
Well, I guess I wanted to answer your question with kind of a question where you're like, what do we think that you think? What do you think? Like I know you already answered like what your opinion was, like or your personal stance on abortion, but I'm not necessarily individually asking like a specific topic. I just mean more like where you stand, because I'm assuming from the way you talk that you're very religious, and so
I wish.
Oh, you're not?
Nah.
But
I wish.
But would you say that you're more religious than the average person, or you lean religious?
What I can say is I'm not religious, and like, you know, probably hear this a lot, but I do talk to God.
Yeah.
I talk to God every day. We prayed before we even came here.
Yeah.
You know? So I try to talk to God every day. I don't go to church a lot. I try to go to church more. But that's kind of like, I feel like you shouldn't follow religion. You should follow God.
Mm-hmm.
God is the one, you know? So religion is there to help you, you know, but at the end of the day, like, those are traditions.
Yeah.
You follow God. You know, God doesn't care about traditions. He cares about you.
Have you always had that, or was that something you more discovered recently?
I feel like I've always felt like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was going to what's it called? I remember because I've always been like this, like asking these type of questions.
Yeah.
Because I always like to ask people, like, okay, you sound real convicted. All right, let me try and phrase these questions to see if you're really 10 toes on your belief.
Yeah.
And I remember Catholicism classes when I used to go. Era una señora, and she would be there, and I would be it was like a classroom of like 20 people, and I'd be the only one asking questions, like hard questions. Would be like, okay, how could you believe God is real if he allowed this, this, and that?
Yeah.
Or how could you believe God is real if he did this, this, and that? You know? And she would always like answer my question. And sometimes I feel like when it comes to like God, I feel like a lot of us don't want to accept that that's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, at least as a kid, like, you don't want to accept that, like, okay, that's the answer. Like, there's nothing more. Like, it's just that simple, you know? And I remember, like, the year after that, I stopped asking questions because, you know, stuff in my life happened. And I'm like, well, God, why would you allow this stuff to happen? Yada, yada, yada. So I kind of stopped, like, not believing in him, but, like, stopped believing in that. And I remember she pulled me to the side and she was like, hey, can I be honest with you? And I was like, what's up, bro? And then she was like, oh, you know, el año pasado preguntabas mucho y ahora este año no preguntas nada. Like, ¿qué está pasando? O sea, tú fuiste el único que preguntaba y bien, o sea, preguntabas bien, pero ahora ya no dices nada. O sea, ¿qué pasó? And then I told her, you know, this, that. She was like, there's nothing. Oh, for the longest, I was like, it's just I have so many questions I want to ask, but I keep on hearing that you should not question God. So it's kind of like, well, then what's the point? And she was like, there's nothing wrong with questioning God. It's just that when you question God, make sure there's not an assumption. So when people say, like, God, why did you allow this to happen? The fact that you're asking that is you're already making the assumption that he allowed that to happen. So that's not how you should ask the question. The question you should ask is like, God, why did this happen?
Yeah.
That's how you should ask, and not, God, why did you allow this to happen? Because you're already assuming that he did it and it's his fault. And, you know, so that's how I kind of like live my life now, where something like happens, I'm kind of like, all right, God, like I want to say, why did you allow this to happen? But the real question is like, why did it happen? Like, let me see something, you know?
Yeah.
So do you mind if I ask you a question kind of following up on that? Forgive me if it sounds like I don't.
You can ask anything.
No,
bro.
I don't mean it in any kind of way. I'm just out of curiosity, like you. I know we kind of right now had a civil disagreement, right, about abortion. And
I don't think that was a disagreement.
No. I mean, like we had like a discourse, right? My bad. I didn't mean it like that. I wanted to ask, like, when kind of going back when I was like, personally, I'm not really with conservatism, right? That's just me. So I've never really personally come across in my circle people who are religious, and I know you're not religious, but I just need a blanket term for the moment.
Yeah.
Would you say that there's times where, like, in what I'm expressing, like whether I believe that you feel like your beliefs are being attacked in some sort of way? Like, because I feel like, I was gonna say, do you ever feel like with what we're talking about, like whether we believe in, you know, we're pro-abortion or that I personally don't believe like life starts at conception, do you ever feel like an attack on your belief, or how do you engage with that? Does my question make sense?
No, it does make sense. I don't think it's an attack on my belief or anything, because you're entitled to your own opinions. I think it's just maybe an attack on, I wouldn't say attack is the correct word, but I think you're going to have to handle it with God. Yeah. You know, if you believe in God or not. But one day when we're going to die, which is going to happen, God's going to be like, hey, you believe this, bro. Yeah. How about you explain yourself? Yeah. And hopefully you can stand 10 toes. Yeah. And explain to him why you believe that. Yeah. And hopefully he has mercy on your soul to allow you into heaven. Yeah. Not that what you believe is wrong. Yeah. You know, but I'm just saying in any belief, not just the abortion shit, but in any belief, he's going to be like, hey, in your lifetime, you supported this. Yeah. What's up with that? Yeah. Because that was not what I was supporting. Yeah. But you supported it. Yeah. So how about you explain it to me? Like, that's just something that we're gonna have to.
So is that where you would say that your angle of like getting to know, or like, I like how you said it, like I want to see how you stand on it, like you want to see like. So is that where you feel like your angle of questioning comes from?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to know, like.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are like, obviously when we're on camera, we're not going to be 100% truthful. Yeah. If we turn off the camera, I'll genuinely tell you what I believe about abortion, and I'll go and all that, or immigration, or anything. I'll genuinely tell you. It's just, I try not to be political because I'm not that type of person, and plus I don't like people talking shit and me talking shit about people's beliefs. Like, I'm not like that. Yeah. Especially on the internet, because everybody got an opinion now fucking nowadays. Yeah. But if you turn off the cameras, I'll genuinely tell you, like, any question, I'll genuinely be straight up, you know? But I try to live my life where it's like, would God support that? Yeah. If you genuinely believe in God, then try to walk towards his path. Yeah. If you're supporting something God would not support, why are you doing it? Yeah. Why are you believing in that?
I guess from my perspective, I kind of grew up. I mean, we went to Catholic school, and for me, reading the Bible like every day, for me, it was always processed more like philosophy. Okay. So for me, at least when it comes to like talking to God, I think of like there's like hundreds of religions like in the world, and so I wonder like. But what does that mean, you know?
Which one's the real one?
Yeah, that, and then also, like, when I was in Catholic school, what always kind of bothered me a little bit was, like, the Bible, because it was written by humans, but not, like, directly by God. So how do we know, if humans are innately bad, how do we know that thousands of years ago, a human didn't, like, rewrite the Bible? So, like, I guess when I think of that,
but
like,
if God, let's just say God wrote the Bible, would you even believe that he wrote the Bible?
I guess that's true.
Well,
so like, there's no winning when it comes to those. Like, when someone says, like, "Prove to me God is real," how do we prove that? Yeah. If what would it take for you to believe in God? Well, God has to be right here, human flesh. Like, he has to show me. Well, he already did that, and there was thousands of witnesses in that time frame, and you think they're not real. So wouldn't you say the same thing? Like, it just doesn't make sense, if that makes sense. Like.
I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah,
from your perspective, the proof is already there, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess like my question too is more like, I guess because like I said, we all went to Catholic school. I've done First Communion, confirmation, all of them. So I guess for me, my attitude always was like, or what I've always had trouble with is I feel like I can't confidently. I personally just feel like I can't see what other people are saying and be like, how do you know that my interpretation isn't different? So like my to give an example, right? There's times when the Bible was used to justify slavery.
Which wasn't good.
Yeah, which wasn't good, correct, right? And I feel like, to me, I'm just like, what I ultimately see is everybody has their individual interpretation of what it means, right? And so that's where I always find like a bit of a challenge, for myself at least, is because I'm like, well, what if I interpret it this way? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, but like a lot of people bring that up where it's like a lot of people justified slavery with the Bible and stuff like that. And it's just like, okay, yeah, they justified it, but just because they justified it doesn't mean that they were right. Like, God wasn't like, yeah, you should have slaves. Like, he never said that. So the fact that someone justified that, like, God is like, okay, that was wrong, bro. And you're wrong for using me to justify that. So I feel like that's kind of, how do you say, like,
no, for sure.
I understand why people have that concern and stuff, but it's kind of like, I feel like that can't be not an excuse, but that's the only word I could find to not believe in God.
No, for sure, for sure. Like, again, like, I hope this doesn't come across as me trying to like dissuade you of your beliefs.
No.
I'm just genuinely coming from like a.
And hopefully this isn't me also being like too like on you guys.
No.
You guys believe, if you guys don't believe in God, that's your opinion. I'm not gonna think differently about you or anything like that.
No, for sure.
Let's talk about it.
I feel like for me, when I bring up the slavery thing, it's more like, if there was a time period where people used this book to justify something wrong, who's to say that's not going to happen again? Because that's where my attitude is.
That's valid.
Is I'm like, well, people, because I see it. I think for me, like personally, I'm very pro LGBT. I very much stand with that community. And I often see that people will use the Bible to justify, the hatred towards them. And that's where I'm kind of like, well, I think if people can see that that kind of thing has been done before, where we use this book to justify something wrong, I've kind of sometimes find it difficult to see how they can't see that could even possibly happen again, let alone that is what's happening. Because I know some people very strongly believe, but I'm just like, for me, it's just more about like, can't you see that even just there is a possibility that could happen again? Does that make sense? What I'm trying to convey? Yeah. So I think that's for me where I kind of have a lot of, I don't know what the word is, like reservations when it comes to like the church or religion per se. I think for me, it's not so much that I have a disdain for believing in the metaphysical. It's more I have a disdain for how some people have used it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't have a
I think that's valid.
Yeah.
I think that's valid. I don't think anything you're saying is wrong. I think that's valid. I think those are valid concerns. I mean, that's really all.
No, yeah. That's just more. I just wanted
because I can't be here and be like, nah, bro, like this is like I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because I'm not super religious again.
No, for sure.
You guys probably know way more because you guys went to Catholic school. So fuck.
Yeah.
But you guys probably know way more about this topic than I do.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, like, if you have the only thing I can say is like, look, me personally, I used to hate God.
Yeah.
I used to actually curse God. Like, I used to be like that. Like, why did you allow this to happen? Why, But God definitely showed mercy on me. Yeah. And he definitely showed me who the big dog is and why he's the big dog.
Yeah.
And basically, he humbled the fuck out of me. It was like, all right, bro, let me show you why. Let me show you that you did this, you did that, you did this, you said that. So who the fuck are you to judge me? In simple terms,
Yeah.
And ever since that day, I think it was November 12th in 2019 that happened, the day I met God.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, like, I was like, oh shit, this is actually real. Like, if I die, like, I actually gotta pay for my consequences. Like, oh shit.
Do you mind explaining like what you mean by met God? Do you mean like you had like an epiphany or what would you say?
I remember I was just laying in my couch. I was sleeping on the couch, and I remember I was just going through it,
Mm-hmm.
And out of nowhere, like, the music, I was listening to music, and for some reason, like, I wasn't drunk, I wasn't high or nothing like that, but all the music was hitting, like, it was hitting, like, the words, like, when you listen to music, like, do you actually listen to the words, like, like, what they're actually saying? Like, you sing along and everything, but, like, you got to listen to, like, what they're actually saying. And for some reason, I was actually listening to what they were saying. I was like, damn, I feel that. And then the only way I could explain it is, like, I literally felt like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I felt like I was up here, and then I just felt like God just, like, put me all the way to the fucking ground. Like, my chest was all the way, like, I don't know. I felt flat, if that makes sense. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I just heard, like, voices. Well, not voice, a voice. And it wasn't like a loud voice, but I would say it was like, how do you say, like an internal dialogue. Maybe it was me. Maybe I'm just crazy.
Yeah.
But it was a voice basically telling me stuff I did not want to hear. Stuff I did not want to admit. Stuff I did not want to, like, go through. So in that, time, I was like, oh, shit, like, this is real. Like, he's spitting some real shit right now. And I was like, bro, I'm sorry. Like, fuck. Like, who am I to judge? Who am I to do this? Who am I to do that? And ever since that day, like, that's the day I started believing, like, actually in God. Because, when you grow up, you're like, yeah, I believe in God. Like, but you don't really, like, believe in God. That was the day I was like, oh, shit. Like, you're actually real. Like, all that shit I done talked, fuck. Like, it's actually real. And ever since that day, like, I've always had, like, God in my mind. And I'm still fucking up. I'm still, I'm drinking. I'm doing other shit I shouldn't be doing. And he tells me, it's like, bro, you fucking up. Like, and he tells me shit that, I don't want to hear and it hurts, but it's true. Like, live better. You could do better. And that's just the type of path I'm trying to go.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to stay on his path as much as I can, but I'm human. I'll fuck up. I want to have fun, and I always try to be straight up with God, even though I hide my true feelings and stuff, but I'm like, yo, I like doing this, I like doing that, I like having fun, I like doing this. And he's like, yeah, you could do all that, but you're gonna end up somewhere you don't want to be. And I'm keeping it real, and he's keeping it real, and it's just hopefully at the end of the day he has mercy on my soul to go to heaven. That's just how I see it.
I think that's a very interesting, like, I just find that very interesting. I've always wanted to talk to somebody like you, genuinely. Because I don't know if you, from the way I talk, whether you can discern whether or not I believe. I don't really necessarily have.
I think you have doubts.
Maybe, yeah.
And I don't think that's wrong because I've had doubts. So.
I would say I more lie in the I'm open-minded.
I feel like a friend told me this, and it's like being too open-minded is not good. Because when you're open-minded, when you're too open-minded, you're persuaded to believe other things. So if you're constantly open-minded, like you gotta have a strong belief in something. Yeah. Like I genuinely believe in God. I don't think no one's gonna change that. Hopefully not. Yeah. And I hope, like, if there was a gun to my head, it was like, you believe in God? If you say, yeah, I'm going to shoot you in the head, I hope I say yes. Like, I genuinely hope in the moment, I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to die for this. Like, I really hope, you know, I could stand 10 toes on that.
When push comes to shove, right?
Yeah, type shit. Yeah. Like, I hope I'm not just saying this shit just to say it. Like, I genuinely hope, like, if it, and I hope it never does come, you know? I don't want to die. Yeah. But if, like, push comes to shove, like you said, like, I hope I stand 10 toes on that shit. And that's how I try to live my lilife.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what we were saying, because open-minded is kind of also a synonym for, like, middle ground, you know?
The devil.
Like, the medium. Because it's like, you got to have an opinion, right? Yeah. Like, you can't just be a fence sitter.
I guess for me, when it comes to spirituality, I've always felt like kind of like what you said. For me, at least, I find it to be a very nuanced conversation. I think for me, like you're always evolving. I think spirituality can look like different things from other people. So I guess my attitude is like, I just know the kind of person that I am, that I feel like 10 years from now, I might have a very different answer. It could be I do believe, it could be I don't believe. So that's why for me, I have a tough time being like either or, more because I'm just like, I personally, my take on spirituality is that it's evolving. That's just my opinion. Is that it's evolving. So that's more my stance on it. But
we are too. We are always evolving, dude.
Yeah, I never really. Do you wish that came out more in your content? Is your belief or not really? Do you try to keep them completely separate?
I try to keep it separate. Mostly because I'm not, again, I haven't read the Bible fully. Yeah. So I don't want to be talking on my ass and being like, you should, you know, I believe this, and, you know. Yeah. Just because I'm not following his path correctly. Yeah. So why am I going to push that type of content and harm his word if I'm not following it down to a T? Yeah. If I was following it down to a T, I would have no problem. Like, yeah, I believe this because this, and that. And you guys should too, because part of, you know, as God's son is to like spread the word. And by spread the word, it doesn't mean convince people. That's not the job. It's to plant the seed. It's to like maybe my job today was to like maybe plant the seed in you. Like, pause. Hey, but he's LGBTQ friendly, so tight shit. Hey, you cool with that? Yeah. No, definitely pause. But maybe the job was to like plant the seed, and maybe today or maybe a whole ass year from now, you're probably like, man, let me actually get deeper into it.
Let me open up that Bible real quick.
Yeah, type shit, you know? Yeah. Or maybe for me, when I'm going through something and this comes up in the memories on Snapchat a year from now, and be like, damn, I was spitting some real shit or some dumb shit. Let me go back and revise this time, and you know.
Yeah, because I mean, we're all young too. Like, I get what you mean by like in 10 years, just
things change. Yeah, maybe your belief is 10 times harder, or your belief is 10 times weaker. Yeah.
I mean, for what I've seen, just getting older, I think that you understand nuance a lot more as a grown man. I think you understand like how I said, like the context when we were talking about like the abortion thing. Yeah. I think that like when you're younger, you think a lot in absolutes. Like this 100% means this, but then as you get older, you're like, well, no, there's actually a lot to consider. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. I just mean that.
What do you think? 'Cause I feel like you stay quiet on this.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, because I feel like my beliefs are somewhat in the same as like Brandon's, and I just feel like I think it's just gonna be repetitive. But I mean, for the most part, I feel like, at least the whole religious part of it, I think there's just a lot of history that I feel has been very contradictory to like my own beliefs of like, you know, like how he said, like it's been used, right? And especially, you know, being us being like more from like Mexico and like the native land, right? Of like how religious was used upon, you know, the native people.
Yeah.
And I feel like it, and then I mean, for us, we also grew up, like, my parents are religious, but not heavily religious as well, because they know that the church is also very abusive to its own people.
Are you able to separate religion and God? Or do you see it both the same?
I think, for me, I think it's because it's so unknown. And I think because for us, like, for me, example is that because I was so pushed into it, it made me want to be out of it. Yeah. Where I was like,
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. I feel like it was just heavily influenced in my life, and not saying in my own personal life, it's just in school. In school, it was so much that I felt like it just felt unnecessary. And I think because of the types of things that it talks about, right? To be like a good person, to do these things, right? But you would see your teachers be mean as fuck. Like you would see your teachers like,
they would talk about
kids.
Don't sin, and they would sin themselves.
Yeah, so it was just like very contradictory. And I think for me, like, I've always had that internal conflict of like, I don't know if God is real or not, or like, I can understand that maybe there is something there. I just don't know what it is. Yeah. And I think for me, it's always just been like that. Like for me, La Virgen de Guadalupe was something somewhat influential, right? But I think it's because it's part of my culture. Like La Virgen de Guadalupe is part of the Mexican culture. And I think that was really embedded. But I think I see her as an influence because she was La Morenita, right? She was the one that I could look up to in this environment where it was predominantly just white, right? And so then to me, it's like I have those types of beliefs, but it's also like, it's also complicated in like, is it real or not? Or is it just this thing that I'm kind of creating? It's in the same way of like spirituality, right? Of like where we have stones, where we have herbs, and like there's these things that kind of cure us, right? But a lot of it also just seems like it's energy. I don't think.
Have you ever asked, sorry to cut you off, have you ever asked God if he's real?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever questioned or been like, oh, is he like, directly? No. Like,
if you're real, like, prove it right now. Like, stuff like that.
No, not like prove it, but it's like, have you ever, like, stopped? Like, just stopped? God, are you real? Like, have you guys ever done that?
No. Maybe when I was, like, younger. Maybe when I was, like, a kid. Maybe.
And why do you think you guys haven't done that?
Well, I think K through 8 was Catholic school for me. And then I did a semester of Catholic high school. So I think during that time, Catholic school is, I would say, very like, it's not even a question. So I don't think in those times I ever had like it was just that's the way things are.
No, but I get it because like you guys went to that school where it's literally forced down your fucking throat. Yeah. Like, you know, so it makes someone not want to do that. Yeah. And when you tell someone don't drink, they're going to drink, right? Yeah. But I'm talking about now. You guys are out of that, so let's forget about that. I'm talking about now.
No, yeah, for sure.
Have you guys ever done it? And if you haven't, why not?
Why not?
Just never really came about my mind.
I just feel like I never had the need to question it. Like, because I feel like it's so out of my life that, like, it's not a need for me to, like, ask or question anymore.
Well, and I guess for me, like, what I think I never asked was, I went to Catholic school, and then the other high school I went to was a environmental science school. So I know they're not, like, to me, it felt like polar opposites.
Yeah.
So I went from one extreme to, like, what some would consider would be the other extreme, right? And so for me, when I got to that high school, I very much aligned with everything that high school was kind of talking about. And so when I came to that, I was like, I kind of just agree with this. So I don't really have any questions. I kind of just, does that make sense?
Yeah. Can I ask something? Do you think you agree with that because that's what you wanted to hear?
I think for me, it personally just made more sense in my mind. Like, to me, with the questions that I had that I felt like were lacking in what made sense to me, I felt like were answered more in a more efficient way. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, like, if I was
in a way you were able to comprehend it.
Yeah, like I think for me, I felt like, well, I aligned with this, so I feel like I never really felt like there was room and does that make sense for me to be like, God, are you real? Because I was like, well, I agree with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. I understand what you're saying. What about you? Or you too?
I
You've been
did.
quiet.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because at least from that beginning, when I was a freshman, I didn't want to believe it because I remember I had my freshman year, I had a biology teacher, and he was the first ever person because like him, basically since I was basically born, I was like in the Catholic faith, and I had a biology teacher who basically just told us that he didn't believe in God, and me being like fresh out the Christian Catholic womb, being like that's crazy, like I want to save his soul and all this stuff. But like what you're saying, like
I need to save you.
like what you're saying, I think he was such an intelligent guy, super sweet, super like articulated well, like his ideas and his beliefs, that he kind of like just made me kind of he gave me a more efficient answer that I get, and like in my head was like, okay, that makes sense. And I think it gave me this grace of like, when I look at religious people or people who are spiritual, I give them grace because I was at one point that person. And now that I'm not that person, I'm not in a bad ways. Like, these guys will tell you if you watch our content, I'm a very optimistic guy, super positive guy. Like, I basically most of the time I'm always thinking like life is good, life is great. So I've never felt like at any point I faulted once I like detached myself. But I also wouldn't say I'm like a bleeding heart atheist. I think like there's a part of me, whether it's because it was instilled in me but through the education of Catholicism or just like something innate in the universe, something makes me want to believe in a higher power because I feel like my life is good.
What would it take for you guys? What would it take for you guys to believe like, okay, God, you're actually real? What would it take?
Probably the rapture happening.
The rapture. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard something like that.
Like I'm not even bullshitting either.
Yeah.
Probably the rapture happening. Like if I saw people like
that?
ascending, that's like when at the end of the world, when the world ends.
Yeah,
and some people get ascended into the world.
Some people stay.
Yeah, if I genuinely saw people go up and I stay down, then I'd be like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
God is real.
So for you, because then I'm
for
gonna
me,
wait
yeah.
for you guys.
For me, yeah.
Is that not scary that you're willing to gamble? Well, not even gamble, but like you're willing to wait it out to the last minute to be like, oh shit, this is actually real. Like that's what it would take.
No, not really. I just feel like for me, like I think that I try to live a good life. I try to be a good person. I try to like hear people out, be super sweet to them, be nice, be courteous, just instill the values that my dad had, like and put into me. So I feel like if at the end, like I just was deemed like a bad person to suffer, I'm like, well, I tried my best, and I think my best was good enough. So yeah, well, I'm a very philosophy guy. So like to me, that's.
But
like,
basically, it would take the rapture for you to be like, okay, this shit is real.
Basically, yeah.
What about you?
I think it would have to be something because I know. I hope it doesn't get annoying that I keep. I'm not trying to conflate them. I know there's a difference between you can separate religion and God, right? Do you watch basketball by any chance?
No, I'm a full beaner. I just watch
soccer.
That's it.
Well, I guess the way that I've always interpreted it is I use the basketball. I'm a big basketball fan, and to me, the way I say like, well, people will say like, oh, I know God, and I'm not talking about you. I mean, there's people who will be like, this is my interpretation of God, and for me, I've only ever seen, I mean, like 99%. Obviously excluding you, is people who are use it very hatefully and very in unjust ways. Like I learned about how the Spaniards would toss Native Americans into the river and be like, pray to your God, see if he'll save you. I've talked about how I've learned about how Christopher Columbus, you know, he used the Catholic God to talk about the eclipse and say, this is what my God can do. Give me all your food. Like he would trick them. I've heard how people will say like whether or not you like I said, I'm pro LGBT. I've seen how people will attack and hurt like innocent people who are LGBT. Like I've known LGBTQ people who want to know God. I've gone to Catholic school. I've read about Jesus' teaching, and I've read about how supposedly he had Mary Magdalene, who in the Bible was a sex worker. And I hear how people treat sex workers and talk about women. There's verses in the Bible that talk about abortion, and they're not bad. There's verses in the Bible that talk about abortion very casually, as if it happened a lot in the historical time frame. There's areas in the Bible. There's times when people use the Bible to, like we said, justify slavery. So for me, I've personally only ever experienced a negative connotation of what God looks like. And to me, if for me to believe in God, I would have to see him or a representation of God say, come down and fix those injustices and say, you know what, like that shouldn't have happened. That was wrong. I'm not with people suffering, because that's how he's described in what we read is he's not with suffering. He's ultra forgiving. He's this, and that. But I haven't seen that. And so for me, I would like to see that if that's real. And so I guess that's why I don't. Does that make sense?
No. It makes 100% sense.
Yeah. So that's my answer. Yeah.
I have a lot to say, but I want to hear you.
For sure.
I feel like
what would it take for you to believe in God?
I think the only thing that
sorry to cut you off. You rapture and he has to come down.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, when you first asked that, the only thing that came to mind is that I would have to physically see him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it can be like he moved something, he made something levitate. I would have to see him
like
front and
the
center.
sky open
I'm
up.
here.
Yeah, like I would have to see him like front and center, and he looks wherever he looks, like right here. I don't know. I think to me that's just I think that's just like the way it is for me.
I get you.
Because I feel like I'm in the same thing of like, I feel like there's been so many bad things that have happened, especially as a woman, that I feel like a lot of things were thrown at me to be, you know, this in religion that has been of like what my what's my place as a woman. And I feel like those things have always been bad. And like, for me, the same thing. Like, I would have to see like him actually making that change, and for people to be like and see how wrong it is what they have done.
Yeah.
So for me, that's just how it is. But to be more on your question, I would have to see him physically.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing? I remember not that long, maybe like a few months ago, I talked about how I went to this beautiful museum. You should check it out while you're here. It's called the Gene Autry Museum, where they taught it was just a museum about the Native Americans here, and they talked about how in one of the missions they had the Native Americans in these shackles, and there was this kind of like code that the main priest would, I might be botching the complete details, but he would have them sing so that people wouldn't hear him assaulting the girls. Okay. And so for me, I'm like, I obviously that's wrong, right? But to me, I'm just like, when I hear that, I'm like, well, if there is a God and these are the people spreading your word, like these are the horrible people that are spreading your word, why, like, how can you sit by and let these people give this interpretation of you, or give this like association, guilty by association? Like, well, how can you sit by and let people give this? You get what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but that,
No, I mean,
everything you guys say is, I've had those thoughts.
Yeah.
So, you know, now I think differently.
Yeah.
But everything you guys have said, I have felt that probably times 10.
Yeah.
The only thing I could say is it his job?
Yeah.
Is it his job to come down here and fix the stuff that we fucked up?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it his job?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only question I have, as in for you guys, where it's like everything you guys are saying is valid, but is it his job to come down here and fix what we fucked up? And let's say it is his job, so he's gonna come and fix it and show up in front of you guys and be like, "Okay, guys, I fixed everything." Is he not gonna come back again because we're gonna fuck up again? So, like, if that's the case, why does he need to show up to prove to you guys that, like, he's real?
I guess for me, I personally don't see it as it's his job. I more see it as like, so given that context of what I personally like talked about, which is like the things that people use the religion to justify.
And all those people, sorry to cut you off, but all those people will face justice.
No, for sure.
At the end of, you know, of times.
For
but
sure.
in the moment, yeah, it fucking sucks.
No,
Like,
for
people
sure. But
shit.
I guess the way that I see it is like, if I was to get to heaven and God was there and he's like saying like, hey, how come you cursed me out or said this? And I would say, well, what about these guys? Like, what about these people that was wrong? I feel like, to me, I would say something like, the people who were in charge of representing you gave me an idea of what you look like, and I personally wouldn't want to get in on those terms. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I there's this interview that somebody taught. I think his name's Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
He's a very big atheist, and I think he's doing an interview with like a priest or something. I don't forget the context. And he's like, "What if you get to heaven?" And he's like, "How come you didn't believe in me?" And he would say like, I wouldn't want to get in on God's terms. Like, I wouldn't want to get in to the God that I've been described, you know, and that's my attitude personally, you know, like where I feel like, and going back to the basketball thing is, I always analogize it as like, people will kind of say like, oh, well, this isn't part of the game. But if the players are playing that way, the refs are calling the game that way, the fans love that part of the game, then isn't it part of the game? That's for me how I interpret it, is like when I talk about these people who give God a bad name or show like this interpretation of religion, or the fanatics who are kind of forcing it down, being like, no, I don't care if you don't believe I'm right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that
hopefully it doesn't sound like I'm pushing my stuff on you,
no.
because I know you guys felt that a lot.
No.
Younger.
I wouldn't feel comfortable like talking or like saying my piece if that's how I felt.
I just like asking these questions, and I know they're very direct and stuff, but I just like asking these questions because, like, again, I used to be, and again, this isn't the right word, but this is the only word I can find right now, but worse than you guys in the sense where it's like, what you guys believe right now, I believed it like 20, 30 times harder. Like, I was actually cussing God out, you know, on some fuck shit. But no, I mean, like, what you guys are going through, totally understandable, 100%. And I'm not here to convince you guys or anything. And I'm not here to plant the seed or anything, what I was talking about earlier. But I was genuinely, like, curious because you guys said you guys went to Catholic school, and I was like, oh, shit, like, that's crazy. Like, that's dope. You know?
Yeah, though, I mean, I also like want to make it clear that I actually think what you're saying is valuable, at least in the sense of what you're bringing to the conversation. Because I truly think that what anybody believes, I think it's important to always, I don't know, hear the other side, I guess you could say, and just discuss, you know, because I mean, there's no value in never, because then you're always going to have questions. Like, whether it's you or somebody else, you're always going to have questions. And then they're never fully answered or never articulated. Or I guess, like, there isn't this, like, new ground that could be found without this type of, like, questioning. You know? And also, just to, like, clear it up, it doesn't feel at all like you're, like, pushing your beliefs on me.
I hope
not.
No,
not at all.
I just hope, you know, one day you guys will genuinely, like, just look up in the sky and be like, are you real? Just, you know, whenever, maybe at your happiest or maybe at your lowest, you know, everybody's path is differently. But, you know, at the end of the day, how I see it, and it's going to sound like, now I'm going to sound real religious, real, like a dickhead. But at the end of the day, we're going to answer to someone. And hopefully we're all up there and we could do another podcast up there. You know? And maybe you guys make it and I don't. You know? So, you know.
Well, in this scenario, I hope we all make it. You seem really cool. You're being very cool, very respectful, and I appreciate that.
You don't know the real me.
I will say I appreciate you allowing us to say our piece as well. I feel like, again, like I hate to keep bringing it up, but I've encountered a lot of people who will not even let me say my piece. You know, well, they'll be like, well, I believe this and you're just wrong, bro. And,
no, I mean, obviously internally in my brain, I'm like, I don't agree with you guys. And obviously because of my mindset, I do think you guys are wrong. But I'm not going to come out here and be like, you're wrong. And no, I used to believe those thoughts. Now I don't. I can't be like, you guys should believe this because I don't believe that no more. Like, that's not cool. Everybody has their different path. And if you guys end up living your life the same way you guys continue living your life, that's you guys. That's none of my business. That's you guys. Like I said, at the end of the day, we're going to answer to someone, and you're going to have to explain to yourself, just like I am. You know, God is going to look down. Maybe he's going to bring up this podcast and be like, you represented me wrong. You know, he could possibly say that. You represented me wrong. Maybe you shouldn't have even talked at all. You know? You get me?
I get what you're saying.
That's why I'm not like hella like I try not to be judgy or anything like that.
And you're not,
and
dude.
If it comes off that way, I do apologize.
No, dude, not at all. I promise you, like, this is a very civil and super mature conversation.
I'm trying to get it heated.
Trying to get heated.
I'm about to fight him off camera.
We're about to throw down.
But I mean, I think that was a
really interesting podcast.
Hopefully you guys like this podcast. You know?
Hopefully
it wasn't boring. You know?
No, dude.
Dude.
This was.
I hope I was entertaining for you guys.
I think that I think one of the things that I'm really enjoying about this is that I genuinely feel like this is so taboo to talk about, and I think I enjoyed that we kept it very respectful. And we heard each other out, and you guys were also articulating yourselves really well. I was enthralled because that's why I was being silent, because I just felt like, wow.
Enthralled. I've never heard that, bro.
And
you guys
again,
are too smart for me. I've never heard that.
I
dude,
did
smart.
not expect the podcast to go this way at all. So to me, I think that's a good thing.
I think you broke the record.
Maybe it was a sign.
Good,
Maybe it was a sign.
I think you broke the record. I think this is the longest guest episode we've ever had.
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed.
Nah,
it.
dude, I had a blast.
I hope you enjoyed it. I really do. I hope you.
I'm just worried about the clips you're gonna make for the abortion one.
Nah,
Fuck it. My opinion is my opinion, and you know that's how I stand.
Stand
I
on business.
stand on
10
business.
toes down.
All I gotta do is
Did he do the?
all I gotta do is just remove the comment section. People
Ooh,
can't
there
say, people can't say mean things if they can't type mean things.
Yeah.
Type
What
shit.
did you say earlier about being canceled? Stand on business.
Oh yeah, I stand on business. Don't apologize.
Don't apologize.
Don't apologize.
Look back at this sign, Brian, and stand on your word.
This exact
remember what you said.
Yeah, remember what you said.
Yeah, but before we send everybody home, we got to give a quick shout out
Let me find all the
to
patrons.
the patrons.
I don't know if there's anything else you would like to add,
Yeah.
where people
Shout
can
out-
find
yeah.
you.
Yeah, I mean,
Anything new that you have going on?
Your music,
Basically,
Your-
I mean, you guys don't know where to find me, but on TikTok, and I do YouTube, so I do vlogs. Ybrazzy, we post every Tuesday and Fridays, and we just hit 5K subscribers yesterday. So,
oh, congratulations!
Congrats.
You know,
Congratulations!
thank you. And yeah, music dropping soon. I don't drop all the time because I've been so focused on the YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
Let me get a feature.
Yeah, hey, bet. Corrido. But no, yeah, I mean, you guys could find me anywhere on Ybrazzy except for Pornhub. And what's it called? Yeah, I appreciate you guys giving me the time to be here. Like, I really do. I am so grateful for you guys giving me a voice, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
A voice for the unheard.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
thank you for coming on, dude.
No, these guys were, and girls, you know, I'm not sexist
That's
sometimes.
crazy.
But, they allowed me in their beautiful home. They're rich, bro. They
Nah,
got money.
edit that out.
Don't
Edit
say
that
that.
out.
Don't say that.
Edit that
They
out.
live in the hills.
Edit that out. Edit that
I don't
out.
live here.
Nah,
This
but
isn't our house. We just rented it.
It's Airbnb.
It's an Airbnb.
But no, they were super nice. You know, they allowed me and my friends to be here. They're already sleeping, bro. They had like a long ass drive.
I know. I saw them knock out.
Yeah, shout out to his entourage over there.
My bodyguards and
No,
everything.
yeah.
They're
but,
asleep.
but no, I appreciate all the support and no, for allowing me on here, man. Like I really do. Like I had a blast, you know, I had a fun time. And it felt natural, you know.
Yeah,
One thing
yeah.
I do get scared, and I'll keep it short because I know we gotta end it. But with podcasts is like there's nothing like to ask or nothing to add and stuff, and it feels forced. This didn't feel like that at all. I'm glad you guys allowed me to like basically challenge you guys and your beliefs and stuff. Just because I've seen like, especially you get real not political. I wouldn't even say it's political, but it's just like I like talking to someone that's very firm on their beliefs, and I want to test that out. Like, are you really about it?
Yeah.
And you guys stood toes on your guys' beliefs.
10 toes down.
thank you.
11
You
toes
know?
down, bro.
11. But
Um,
no, I appreciate everything. I appreciate
Hey,
all
you
the
too,
support.
dude.
And the
You
Modelo
too.
they gave me at the beginning. I
Yeah, we
appreciate
did.
that.
Thank you again for coming. I know you probably have a busy schedule. You know, you're only here for a few days, so
Tight shit.
we really
Nah,
appreciate you reaching out to us, and like we really appreciate it.
And you know what's
So-
crazy? I was scared to reach out to you guys.
Why?
Why?
Because I was like, man, they don't want to do shit with me. Like, they don't know me. Like, that's literally...
That's crazy.
That's literally how I was like, fuck it. Because I've seen your guys' videos on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I wonder where they're from.
Yeah.
And I found out you guys from LA. And then I was like, well, I'm about to go to LA.
Yeah.
And I also felt weird, like, asking you, like, can I be on the podcast? Like, it also feels weird.
Yeah.
I feel like it's different. If you guys were to ask me, then I'll be like, oh my God, thank
Yeah.
you. But it feels weird me being like, yo, can I be on the podcast, please?
That's funny
Por
though,
favor.
'cause we had been wanting to have you on the
Yeah, we had been
podcast. We were
wanting to
just
ask
shy.
you. Yeah,
we were
we
like,
shy.
he's gonna say no, it's gonna hurt my feelings.
Well, we thought you were too like big. Like we
No,
were
not
like,
even
nah,
that,
he's gonna be like, nah, you
Too
guys-
Hollywood for
Nah,
us.
hell
Too
no.
Hollywood.
Yeah. But
I'm
again,
staying at Hollywood.
but again, thank you so much for coming on. We really hope you
thank
enjoyed
you.
this. Shout out to all our patrons. Yoel, Jada Chicano, Eli Quintero, I Am Potato Tots, Stephen Carvajal, Carla Corazon, El Verdugo de Pasadena, and Altadena will be billed.
And it will.
We really appreciate all of your patronage. It means a lot to us. Thanks again to Ybrazzy for joining us.
So y'all making money on
No.
Patreon.
A little bit.
Okay.
Edit that.
Do you guys need another guest? I mean, another like host or something? Like, I'm down. We can get a chair. I can get a chair. Like,
Yeah,
really,
if
you
you
know?
move down here.
If you buy it and you
All right,
move
bet.
down here,
Yeah.
we'll
You gotta move
consider
down
it.
here.
We'll consider
All
it.
right.
Well, I like
She said it.
But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
See ya.